Joe, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? How's things? Komatos, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? How's things? A lot of things been happening. T, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? What's up, Miles? What's up, CMF? Kerry, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Paul, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Bitcoin hit $89,000. Yes, it did. Good evening, Miles and all the CMF. Addy, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Wish I brought CRO up 77%. CRO, yeah, I mean, Crow, they're doing a lot of movements as well. As I revealed on this live, Crypto.com is becoming a bank app. They're going to go into stocks. They're going to be, they're giving out loans across your, using your crypto assets as collateral. So Crypto.com is going to be changing in 2025. It's going to go from a normal crypto trading app to a bank app. So they're taking it to a whole nother level. A lot of things have been happening. Good day, Miles. Mike, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles. G, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? It seems like analysts will write 100,000 by the end of the year. Yep, I've been revealing on this live quite a lot of analyst reviews on, essentially Bitcoin reaching $100,000, and it seems like all of the analysts were correct. BTC, let's go. Dennis, good to see you. How you doing? Frankie brother, good to see you. How you doing? Good evening. How you been? Lados, good to see you. How you doing? Hi, Miles. Why XDC has not moved like it's constipated? It's going to move slowly. Even the Miles and family looking refreshed. Miles, let's go. Ian, Pablo, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? 88,900. Yeah, Miles. What this mean for Bull Run January? It's Kickstarters, what I can say. But this is just, teasers, of what's going to come towards us. This is just a little tease inside the market space so you can see what the market can reach. I mean, Trump hasn't even taken his seat yet, and the market is reacting the way it is, which is amazing, incredible, to be fairly honest. But once Trump actually takes his seat around January 20th, and fires Gary Gensler, brings a new chairman for the SEC, brings rules and regulations inside the United States. I mean, that is what you're going to be seeing, a massive pour of wealth into the crypto space from the institutions. This is just a small teaser of what is actually about to come towards the crypto space. As I said, part 2 is going to be a very interesting bull run. But this is just a small teaser of what to come. Good morning, Miles and CMF. Ghost Brunner, good to see you. How you doing? Happy Pisces, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Miles, when is the correction expected? So a correction in this market state can only be from scenarios of war. So the US has essentially done some missile strikes towards Iran, which if that escalates, then we can see the market slightly coming down, but not drastically down in any sort of way, but slightly coming down. Good evening, Miles and Carlos. Good evening, Miles. Carlos, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Miles is going up or will come down? We're going up for now. Carl, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been? Hope you're feeling better, Miles. I'm feeling a lot better, Ghost Burner. Good to see you. How you doing? Can I get a shout out? Crispy, how you doing? I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for the slight crash so we can buy a little more on your bags. I mean, dollar cost averaging is always the best option. As I said, whenever you're in doubt, always be 1 foot in, 1 foot out is what I've always been saying for the longest time. Dollar cost average into it. Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you. Morning, how you doing, Shelly? How you been? So, I don't even know where to start. I'll be honest. There's too much happening right now inside the crypto space. I mean, we have reports and new reports from Standard Chartered Bank stating where essentially the crypto market is going to be heading towards. We have Bernstein sending essentially memo letters to their high-profile clients, telling them it's green light, buy everything inside the crypto space. We have essentially Trump's, promises on the news, talking about how he's going to be removing Gary Gensler and so on and so on. And then we have MicroStrategy talking about how they're, gearing up to buy another $2 billion of Bitcoin. And then Michael Saylor was asked on a live news, essentially, are you going to be continuing to buy Bitcoin as these prices? Michael Saylor essentially stated stating that he's going to be, in not any sort of way slowing down on his Bitcoin purchases. As long as MicroStrategy keeps on essentially buying as much as essentially he wants and going inside the market space, more corporations are going to follow the footsteps of MicroStrategy. So here's the thing. This is not, as I said, I'm the only one that's been saying this inside the crypto space. This is not your typical run in any sort of a way. We're going into an institutional run. We're going into a rules and regulation run. We're going into a new SEC chairman run. We're going into essentially a Trump presidency run. We're going into the United States become the capital of the cryptocurrencies. This is not your typical run in sort of way. This is what we've been waiting for, essentially, for the world to completely change and have a new fresh mindset on the movement. Will you, Miles, when can we start? Good to see you. How you doing? Good evening. Miles, when can we start taking profits? Will you guide us? Now, in terms of profits, I've already released a PDF documentation on the CMF Telegram a while ago. And if it's, it's in the pin section. If it's not there anymore, I will, essentially re-upload the document on Telegram for everybody to know. And essentially when to take out profits. Taking out profits is never a bad thing. If you want to, take some profits out, why not? But as I've said before, this is just a teaser of what to come. Just a teaser of what to come. Trump has still not taken his seat. That is going to cause another catalytic inside the crypto space. Firing Gary Gensler on essentially January 20th is going to make the crypto markets go even higher. Bringing rules and regulations after January 20th inside the United States is going to make the market go higher. Bringing more institutions inside the crypto space, more institutional money, more banks getting off. Essentially, the United States, after rules and regulations of Trump becoming a capital of the crypto hub, the market's going to go even higher. We're going to go into utility cons we're going to go into utility crypto projects with the institutions and banks coming. So this is just pretty much a teaser of what to come. These numbers that you're seeing inside the crypto space are nothing compared to what's headed towards the crypto space, to put in a better perspective for you. On absolutely nothing. We're going to be seeing much, much more incredibly higher figures once Trump takes his presidency seat, once he fires Gary Gensler, hires a new SEC chairman, brings the rules and regulations, that the United States becomes the capital of cryptocurrencies. I mean, MicroStrategy, for one, Michael Saylor is not slowing down. He's buying he said on news even today that he's going to be buying Bitcoin at $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, and so on. So he's going to keep on going higher and higher inside the market space. And let's not forget, MicroStrategy over the next 2 years is going to be raising $42 billion to put inside of the Bitcoin market space. Him just going for Bitcoin, it's going to bring more rise inside the crypto space, and the companies around them aren't going to be slowing down. They're going to be looking at MicroStrategy and going, well, his bet paid off. Michael Saylor's bet paid off, so we're going to go inside the crypto space as well. And we're not going to slow down if he's not going to slow down. Nobody wants to be left behind right now inside the institutional space. It doesn't matter if it's a small company, a medium company, or a massive company. Nobody wants their competitors to take over there. So which means if no company is going to be slowing down, it's just going to be buying and buying and buying. Now, we're going to, essentially consider the fact of turbulence inside of any sort of market space. But as I said, this is just a small teaser of what to come. Bitcoin reaching $100,000 is nothing for what's about to come. Ethereum reaching new heights is nothing for what's about to come. Essentially, Gary Gensler getting fired and the SEC case with Ripple completely ends. You're going to be seeing different, essentially, side of XRP on that matter as well. Elon Musk taking his new seat, essentially working alongside Donald Trump, is going to be pushing Dogecoin up as well. A lot of things are happening around the world. We have so many reports to go through tonight's live. Too many things are happening around the world. Let's go inside the comment section before we go for the first news. But also, let me just say, if you're watching this for the first time ever, welcome back to the CMF Live. This is episode 201 of the CMF Live. Incredible that we've made it to episode 201 now. If you're watching this for the first time ever, the CMF stands for Crypto Mouse Family. I'm your host, as I am always, every single night. My name is Miles. I go by the persona Crypto Mouse. And on the CMF Live, you can tune in every single night where I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. And the world is definitely transforming into a digital space right before your eyes right now. So, on tonight's episode, we're going to go through multiple reports from Standard Chartered Bank and such talking about the market space and what number points we could possibly be reaching. We're going to go through reports from Bernstein. We're going to go through reports from Goldman Sachs. We're going to go through so many reports, essentially from their own analysts, talking about the market space and how Michael Saylor is not going to be slowing down. A lot of things to cover on tonight's live. Miles, will you give us some sales signals? Yes, I will. XRP news? Yes. Towards the end of the live and some in the middle. I'm just topping up my XRP bags every day. Let's go, Funky brother. Evening, Miles and CMF. Manny, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? DOGE up 2 positions. XRP down to 8th position by the market cap. Yes, because it's still in that lawsuit, which needs to get dismissed. Getting my family into crypto. Funky brother, let's go. God bless you and good luck, Funky. Let's go. Evening, Miles and CMF. Jason, good to see you. Well, how you doing? Also, if you're watching this for the first time, if I get involved inside the comment section, do not be shy. Even if you're new inside the crypto space, get involved inside the comment section. I got a few questions about XDC. 1, will it be used for tokenizations? 2, do you think it's a good coin? And do you think it will reach $100 if regulations come in? Over time, sure, why not? Consider variable change. And on the basis of tokenizations, it can be yes. But on the basis of being an asset to be used for domestic and such international payments is more likely than tokenizations. So when it's the altcoins going to start pumping hardcore? Well, as I said, this is just a teaser. Gary Gensler still needs to be fired, which is going to happen January 20th, which means a new SEC chairman, which means rules and regulations, which means more companies, more institutions coming in. And that's when you're going to be seeing the altcoins start reacting to the market space as well. Gary Gensler has 100 lawsuits open inside the crypto space. Once that man gets fired, according to John Reed Stock, a former SEC member, those cases will either be dismissed or settled with the SEC, which means the 100 open cases Gary Gensler has inside the crypto space, they're all going to be settled or dismissed. So this is the teaser. You're going to be seeing the altcoins pump even harder. As I said as well, this is just going to be 4 years of making money. Because of Donald Trump, and thank God for Donald Trump, there's just going to be 4 years of us making money inside the crypto space. All these years, Gary Gensler held us essentially back inside the market space. Well, it's all going to pay off in the next 4 years. And again, it's just a teaser. The prices you're seeing right now, everybody's getting excited about the prices right now. And they should be, because we've been stuck in some awkward position inside the crypto markets for a while now because of Gary Gensler. But here's the thing. These prices are nothing compared to what's to come inside the crypto space after rules and regulations and after Gary Gensler gets fired January 20th. When Trump takes his seat, you're going to be seeing a whole other side of the market space. So that's Miles. When will ACH reach $3? Consider variable change. JP, good evening, Miles of CMF. Good to see you as well. JP, how you doing, brother? How you been? Michael Saylor just made $10 billion in unrealized profits, which is true. Facts. Good evening, Miles of CMF. How are you, Miles? I'm doing great, Kelly. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Miles is 40,000 XRP good. It's a great amount. I wish I could kiss Trump, at least say thank you. Let's go, G. Wish I could afford to buy some silver right now. Forget about silver. Stick to the crypto markets. What up, CMF? I'm brother from another mother. Hope all is well. Let's go. Ray, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been? Is XDC going to be a part of the utility run? Yes, it is. Miles, what is the medium-sized bag, whatever your budget is within? Why 4 years, Miles? Because that's essentially the period that Trump's going to be running the show for. Hi, Miles and CMF. Stormy, good to see you as well. How you doing? Miles, everyone, a shout out to Miles. I am hospitalized. Guess who called and checked on me? Let's go, Scott. Yes. Everyone from the CMF, Scott is in the hospital. I spoke with him yesterday while he was in the hospital. So everybody, essentially check up on Scott and see what he's doing as well. He's not, he's doing a lot better now. But check on Scott when you do get a chance, CMF members. He's in the hospital right now, but he's still watching live. My friends are starting to, so good to see you, brother. How you been? My friends are starting to doubt me because everything is moving and XRP is not so much. Well, they're not going to be doubting you any longer after January 20th, I can tell you that. Now, the first news topic we're going to go from tonight's live is a report from Goodstein, essentially. The managing partner. So, advisor to investors with hundreds of millions of dollars of wealth, talks about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Barbara Goodstein, managing partner of R360, a private community for those with net worths over $100 million, shared her thoughts essentially on her community's perspective on Bitcoin following recent elections. This person, essentially, Barbara Goodstein, manages a firm, and essentially in her firm, all of her high-profile clients, all of her clients in general, are holding assets worth $100 million and up, and they're talking about crypto assets as well now. In a discussion, Barbara Goodstein noted the growing enthusiasm among her high net profile investors about Bitcoin's potential and cryptocurrency's potential, and suggested that Bitcoin could become a strict reserve asset with her high-profile clients. Reflecting on the excitement surrounding Trump's victory, Goodstein shared that investors in his network essentially see a significant upside potential in the current political and economic climates. At a recent R360 market opportunities and risk meeting, attendees explored how strict shifts could shape financial opportunities, and particularly in alternative assets like Bitcoin. Goodstein drew essentially an interesting comparison between Bitcoin and traditional assets like gold, noting that BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF has surpassed its gold ETF in assets under management. This development reflects a trend where investors are viewing Bitcoin as a hedge similar to gold, but with greater upside potential. Goodstein noted that essentially the network generally prefers to hold Bitcoin directly rather than the ETFs to avoid additional tax implications. We have a lot of confidence in Bitcoin, and we have been talking about it for years, Goodstein said. Adding, we think Bitcoin could become the next street reserve asset, noting that the US currently holds 232,000 Bitcoins. Goodstein noted that under the current administration policies, that number could increase significantly and possibly exceed 1 million Bitcoins. It is true, the United States of America, because of Donald Trump and because of Cynthia Luminous, is going to be buying essentially 1 million Bitcoins and essentially controlling 5% supply of Bitcoin as they move forward. The market's not going to be slowing down. I mean, we have essentially Barbara Goodstein with her high-profile clients. Her company is massive. I mean, his company is massive, and all of their clients are high-profile clients. Portfolios over $100 billion, and they've been talking about entering the crypto space for years, and they're thinking now is the best time to enter. Now, what we're going to talk about next, moving on from Goodstein, essentially great report from Goodstein, to alleged members to be SEC chair makes a statement about cryptocurrencies. There are people that want to replace Gary Gensler that already work within the SEC who want to bring a pro-crypto SEC inside the United States by firing Gary Gensler. His own employees from the SEC want to fire Gary Gensler. Now, here's the thing. Bitcoin reached essentially all-time highs today, rising above $86,000 and still going higher. As the post-election rally continues following President Donald Trump's elect victory, the BTC price rally above $86,000 marks a 20% increase since November 6, when Trump defeated Vice President Kamala Harris. Thank God for that. The price rally was fueled by market optimism that the Trump administration will adapt crypto-friendly regulatory stance, as both Trump and Harris signaled during their campaigns. Many traders now expect the US government to support digital assets with more favorable regulations. Bitcoin speculators are confident of cleaner regulatory environments and have the expectations that authorities could create a reserve crypto fund that will help fuel ongoing demand, said essentially Susanna Streeter, head of money and markets essentially at Evergrades Lawsdown, which is massive that Evergrades is saying this. Bitcoin's essentially record-breaking rally has dealt a blow to the investors and the fall of digital asset funds. Investors who shorted the largest Bitcoin exchange traded fund, the iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF, have lost $37 million. Whoever shorted Bitcoin is an absolute moron. Since election day, as the ETFs followed Bitcoin's upward momentums, Trump had promised during his campaign to make the US the crypto capital of the planet, and knowing Trump, he will do that. Trump is the only politician in history to stand by his word. And honestly, I've said this many times, and I could not say more than enough. Thank God Trump won. And the Bitcoin superpower of the world, he also essentially proposed sweeping policy changes, including potentially replacing SEC chairman Gary Gensler, which is not potentially, he is going to be doing that. Known for his aggressive regulatory stance on digital assets, Trump could simply remove Gary Gensler from his chairmanship, while Gary Gensler could continue as an SEC commissioner until his end terms of 2026. But Gary Gensler is never going to be seen 2026 as the chairman of the SEC. The last essentially date Gary Gensler is going to be seen as an SEC chairman is January 20th or January 21st. Trump proposed a crypto advisory board and supportive stance on digital assets, and a stark contrast to essentially Gensler's tenure. SEC Commissioner Mark, one of the agency's two Republican commissioners, is likely to become the acting commissioners, essentially replacing Gary Gensler, and to become an acting chairman under Trump. Mark has suggested that enforcement actions related to registration issues may essentially be paused until clearer regulations are created. The agency's war on crypto must end. This is an SEC member. Mark is an SEC member that works for Gary Gensler. And essentially, a very high chance that Mark, that already works in the SEC, is going to be replacing Gary Gensler. And Mark has decided to come out essentially and make a statement from the SEC and say that the agency's war on crypto must end. That's massive news. This is coming from the SEC. While Gary Gensler still has a position of chairmanship but has no power, Mark from the SEC has just made a statement today and said that the agency's war on crypto must end, including crypto enforcement actions based solely on failure to register with the allegations of fraud or harm. Mark told essentially Fox Business today, President Trump and the American voters have sent a clear message. The SEC is tasked essentially with fulfilling its mandate starting in 2025. The SEC is going to be essentially bringing those regulations in, essentially making the United States the capital of the crypto markets, dismissing unlawful lawsuits that are harming the crypto markets. This is coming from the SEC, from themselves. It's incredible news. Incredible news that the SEC is mentioning this. Gary Gensler must be fuming right now, but he can't do anything about it because he knows he either resigns and everything gets dismissed or settled, all of his open cases, or he waits until January 20th where he gets essentially fired and then all of his cases get dismissed and settled. He has no power. He's the only SEC chairman. Gary Gensler right now is the only SEC chairman in history of the United States to be sitting as the SEC chairman and have no power, because he either resigns where the cases get dismissed and settled, the open cases he has going on with the SEC, Ripple, Coinbase, Kraken, and so on, or he waits until January 20th where they essentially get dismissed and essentially settled either way. So he's the only SEC chairman in the United States history who is a chairman that has no power capabilities whatsoever. It must feel so good right now for the crypto space, but Gary Gensler's fuming. He deserves it. Honestly, whatever bad thing happens to Gary Gensler, he deserves it, because what he did to hundreds of millions of lives around the world, and not just inside the United States, was stifling the crypto market space. Now, what we're going to be talking about next, moving on from essentially the statement that came out from the SEC, the crypto war must end. The words that we never thought we would hear from the United States SEC was the crypto war must end. And that was their own words. It is massive. Now, we're going to be talking about next is Bernstein. But before we go through Bernstein's reports on how they think the market space is going to be playing out, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see what's going on in there. And then we go straight to Bernstein's report. Everything, pretty much all the news I'm going to be sharing to you with today is incredibly bullish news of what's to come. Reports from major banks and establishments. Now, before we go for the next report, as I said, Bernstein, let's go inside the comment section first. This is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. Let's see where we're going right now. Let's see where we were at. We were at here. I said it's optional. Sell it if you want. Definitely. Hi, Scott. I pray for you to okay. Let's go, Stormy. Hi, Miles, the CMF. George, good to see you. How you doing, George? How you been? Miles, you must be miles ahead of your bags, as you have been in crypto since the bear markets. Wish you the best. Thank you so much, Frankie brother, for the kind words. I've honestly, everybody inside the CMF is going to do incredibly well. When XRP reach high prices, because staying low long term, it's not going to be staying low long term. Trust me. Thanks. Let's go, Scott. XRP is a great project, but it's really testing everyone's patience. Even the Miles and future rich CMF peeps, Semper, good to see you. How you doing? So let's go into the Bernstein report. Bernstein tells investors to buy everything you can. Imagine that one. Bernstein, an asset company with essentially $800 billion. They have $800 billion in assets under management. And Bernstein tells their investors to buy everything you can to enter crypto as Bitcoin surges past elections. Following Donald Trump's victory in 2024 U.S. presidential elections, investment firm Bernstein has called on investors to jump inside the Bitcoin's booming market space and crypto's booming market space in a bullish note to their clients. One of Bernstein's clients has revealed this note. Bernstein's crypto research lead noted that the momentum advising clients to buy crypto and released assets. They said, "Welcome to the crypto bull market. Buy everything you can." This is a statement from Bernstein. This audacious suggestion comes at a time when Bitcoin is trading around $86,000, following interest from institutions and awareness of crypto assets as a hedge against inflation. Bernstein, with $800 billion assets under management, just put out their Monday morning note to clients. Welcome to the bull market. Buy everything you can. Don't fight this. Add crypto exposure ASAP. Just to repeat that one more time. Bernstein, $800 billion $800 billion assets under management. Bernstein putting a note out stating today, welcome to the crypto bull market. Buy everything you can. Don't fight this. Add crypto exposure ASAP. In a view of increasing global inflations, Bernstein considers Bitcoin as a much better option than conventional investments, describing it as a digital gold. According to the firm, increased demand will be propelled by limited supply of Bitcoin due to the halving cycles, which reduce the rate of issuance. With the recent halvings, the daily supply was reduced from 900 BTC to 450 BTC, a situation that has essentially in the past led to a significant post-halving price rise. Now, essentially, Bernstein's team have essentially explained the different means that investors can use to access the growing crypto market space. Some examples of exposure of the Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange traded funds publicly listed on Bitcoin miners like Riot, essentially Core Scientific, and exchanges like Robinhood and Coinbase is what Bernstein told essentially their clients to go towards. They told their clients to go towards Coinbase if they want to buy assets when it comes to crypto, or if they want to go for ETFs, go towards Bitcoin, Ethereum ETFs. Other avenues of investments that were also mentioned by Bernstein, to their high-profile clients included MicroStrategy. You can go for MSTR stock, which has incorporated Bitcoin as a part of its crypto, essentially corporate treasuries. The firm suggested that cautious investors should invert their mental models and accept the upward trend of Bitcoin's price. The report states that Trump is the first openly pro-crypto president elected, which provides institutional support that has attracted both old and new investors inside the crypto market space. According to Bernstein's analysts, Bitcoin is expected to gain more momentum, saying that it would hit $200,000 by 2025, which they reckon is quite a low estimate given the rising use and limited supply of Bitcoin. Bernstein has said that Bitcoin should be reaching $200,000 by 2025, but they're saying, we're throwing a very low estimate out there. It should be doing higher numbers by the end of 2025, higher than 200,000. According to Bernstein's, ETFs could essentially hold between $60 billion and $190 billion. Sorry about that. So essentially, Bernstein has said that the price of Bitcoin can reach $1 million by 2033. There's a prediction from Bernstein that Bitcoin can reach $1 million by 2033. Now, some might think, well, that's ridiculous. That's never going to be happening. But if you look at the supply, look at the amount of institutional investments coming in and more coming in over the years, anything's possible inside the crypto space. And 2033 is quite a while. While Bitcoin's price grows, the activity in the futures market is an all-time high right now. The open interest in Bitcoin's futures, a measure of total value of outstanding contracts, has hit a high record of $51.3 billion as of November 11th over the past 24 hours. The liquidations inside the futures markets reached $165 million. There are actually people trying to liquidate. There are actually people who are trying to short the market space right now, which is a ridiculous move. And the majority of these closures belong to short sellers who expected the price of Bitcoin to decrease by now, and it hasn't. You know why it hasn't? Because of MicroStrategy. The reason why Bitcoin's price has not essentially went escalating downwards in any sort of a way or going through any sort of turbulence right now is because MicroStrategy has raised $2 billion again to buy Bitcoin at these prices. MicroStrategy is raising $42 billion. This man is not slowing down in any sort of a way. He said he's buying Bitcoin at $100,000, $110,000, $120, $130, $140, $150, $160. He's buying Bitcoin at $200,000. When you have somebody like MicroStrategy, when you have somebody like Michael Saylor and a company like MicroStrategy, who's essentially publicly stating, we're raising $42 billion to buy Bitcoin no matter what the price is sitting at. That's an indication of confidence inside the market space to every single other institution around them. MicroStrategy has essentially, Michael Saylor has essentially told every single institution around them that we're raising $42 billion and we're going to buy Bitcoin with that $42 billion for the next 2 years. And we're not slowing down. So that's just going to make their competitors go, well, if he's not slowing down, neither are we. Now, moving off essentially the Bernstein report, which was incredibly bullish. Bernstein telling their clients pretty much green light everything, go inside the crypto space, don't even think about it. 2, A16Z is what we're going to talk about next. A16Z foresees a legitimate, lawful future of crypto tokens under Trump. Another institution has came forward essentially today, just like Bernstein has, and just like how Goodstein has, and so on. So many institutions that came forward today and stated that A16Z essentially is foreseeing a crypto space with regulations and policies, which means more institutional money entering the crypto space. Let's go to the comment section first. Let's see what's going on there. As I said before, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Let's see where we are inside the comment section. Before we go for the A16 news, incredibly bullish. Every news we're going to go for on tonight's live is incredibly bullish, and it's all institutional news where the money's at. Let's go inside the comment section. Let's see where we are at. So I'm going to call it. I think Gary Gensler is going to resign on the 24th of January. Joe, you're saying Gary Gensler is going to resign on the 24th of January. It's an interesting prediction. The reasoning why is because Trump takes his seat on January 20th. And 24 hours later, Gary Gensler should be fired. So it's an interesting perspective. You think January 24th. But knowing Gary Gensler, we try to clench on, so you never know. So you're saying profits for the next 4 years, so don't sell next year at the end of the 4-year cycle. It's what I'm doing for myself. So there are some assets that I know that they'll peak out at certain price points that I'm going to get rid of. But as I've said, my plan still hasn't changed, as it didn't change a long time ago, and it hasn't changed now, because I've always knew that we're going to go into an institutional one, unlike anybody inside the crypto space. I've always said we're going to go into rules and regulations. We're going to go into an institutional one. The next clientele is institutions, and we're going to go into utility runs. So knowing all of that, and knowing that, I've been mentioning this for a very long time, my utility projects are never going to be sold. Because as I said previously, what did I say to everybody? A while ago, I said to everybody, once we go into rules and regulations and utility starts kicking in for the majority of these utility crypto projects, because of rules and regulations, because of banks and institutions coming out of this, and now because of Trump and essentially becoming a crypto capital of the world, as the United States of America slowly going to become that. As I said previously, we're just going to be going higher and higher and higher on utility projects. As I said also that we're going to be expecting turbulence along the way, because no market space just continues going up. But turbulence essentially isn't going to be drastic drops. It's just going to be small turbulences here and there. So it's something that I said a long time ago. If anybody remembers, I said once we go into rules and regulations, once we go into utility because of banks and institutions, utility crypto projects are going to go higher and higher and higher and higher, and until they essentially peak out because they're utility. But nothing's changed. I've predicted all of this happening. As I've said previously, I am never wrong. I've never been wrong. And I said this at the beginning of the year. Now, so that's what I'm going to be doing. But there are projects I am going to be getting rid of and pouring that money into utility projects. So it's not that I'm never going to be selling in the next 4 years. I am going to be selling in the next 4 years, but I'm going to be pouring that money, the profits, into utility projects. But due to the rules and regulations is what I would do, Ronnie. But Ronnie, every step by step I'll be letting the CMF know. Like a kid in a candy store, buy. Let's go CMF. Let's go Ian. And guess I looked up and Miles was calling me. Miles is legitimate. I'm blessed to get his call. Guess who have something special in this guy? Trust me, I'm a witness. Scott, thank you so much for the kind words, brother. Let's go CMF. We people are strong. Let's go Scott. Facts. Many technical analysts still say this part of the cycle that the bear market will be back. Well, the only way, as I've said previously, the only way this market can be impacted to have a drop, to make the market settle down, is geopolitical tensions. Geopolitical tensions is the only way this market can essentially come down. Geopolitical tensions, essentially war rising in the Middle East, is the only way that the market space can come down. Now, there has been news that apparently the United States has essentially had some missile strikes towards Iranian bases in Syria, if I'm not mistaken. A member of the CMF let me know about that. Shelley let me know about that. So there are scenarios. A scenario of war can bring the market down, bring some turbulences at the crypto space. Now, here's the thing. This market is extremely jolly right now. No doubt about it. This market is extremely excited. Everybody's very excited inside the crypto space. Everybody's looking forward to rules and regulations. You know, essentially crypto assets getting regulated, banks, institutional money, Gary Gensler getting fired, and everything's extremely bullish. And it should be bullish. One thing that can essentially bring this market slightly down, not drastically down in any sort of a way, but can bring it slightly down, is geopolitical tensions. Now, Trump is supposed to take his presidency seat around January 20th. From now until January 20th, if geopolitical tensions arise, because they want to do that on purpose, because they know when Trump takes his presidency seat around January 20th, all wars will stop completely. All wars have already slowed down and coming to an end already right now. But if they spike up from now until January 20th, then this market can be seeing some turbulence inside of it. So keep that under considerations. And there has been news essentially that the Americans have made some missile essentially launches towards Iranian air bases in different countries in the Middle East. So if that escalates and they try to start a war before Trump takes his presidency seat, then the market can be seeing some turbulence inside of it. So if you're positioning yourself to buy more inside the market space, but you're waiting for, you know, something to bring the market down a little bit so you can jump in again, then that could probably be your, you know, opening window in that scenario, when the door opens for you to re-enter the crypto markets again. So keep that under considerations. If geopolitical tensions arise on purpose from now until January 20th, that's going to be the, you know, the cause of the market, you know, coming down slightly for you to re-enter if you want to enter some more positions. So keep that one under consideration. Now, but again, it's not going to be drastic downs, but it's going to give you another position to enter inside the market space in. But it depends on how severe that war is going to be. BTC is very slow. It is, yeah. Man, Miles, I tried to send. Sorry about that. Miles, I tried to send part of my BTC to Coinbase, and it actually took me 6 hours to get from my cold wallet. Unbelievable. It's incredibly slow when it comes to payments. Incredibly slow. Right now, it's getting congested as well. BTC is very slow, yeah. Miles, come on. Sometimes you're wrong. 0.08% of the time. Sometimes you're 0.08% of the time. I'll take that. My bad. I got my dates wrong. I think Gary will wait till the last minute as usual and resign the day before Trump comes in. That makes more sense now, Joe. I've worked hard and got myself a bit extra to invest. What coins would you recommend at the moment? XRP is still low. There are projects that are right now still primed for Gary Gensler getting fired, and XRP is one of them. XRP is incredibly low for what it's going to become. TON is very low for what it's going to become still. You know, XDC is very low for what it's about to become. ACH is still cheap for what about look, XRP is still cheap right now. XLM is still cheap right now. And ACH is still cheap right now. HBAR is still cheap right now. TON is still cheap right now. These are projects that are going to be doing incredibly well under rules and regulations on a regulated market space. And these crypto projects are still incredibly cheap for what they're going to become. That's what I would say, Ronnie, to that. So XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, ACH, they're still incredibly cheap. And they're going to be doing movements under rules and regulations. A16Z is what we're going to go through on tonight's live. A16Z foresees a legitimate and lawful future of crypto tokens under Trump. So A16Z has came forward, essentially. Thoughts on Ethereum? It's not a crypto project that I would say is a must-have in my crypto portfolio in any sort of way. It might be doing very well for itself right now. I don't know what price it's sitting at, but it's not a crypto project that I would be saying, you know, it's a must-have. I must have this inside my portfolio in any sort of a way is what I would say if he rejects. I'm more essentially towards crypto projects that are going to do very well under regulations. You've got to remember what market space we're in. We're in the regulation and institutional part of the market space right now. We're heading towards regulations and institutional money. So the projects I'm going to be more positioned towards, and I've been positioned for a while now, and just adding more into it, is projects that are going to do extremely well under those conditions. And it's the finance projects and the data projects and so on. And the Web3 projects are going to be extremely well under those conditions, is what I would say. What about Ondo? It is $10,000 a coin, this small run. What about Ondo? It is a $10,000 coin, this small run. Hell, $10,000, Ondo reaching $10,000, no. Any sort of a way. But Ondo is still a good project as well. because it's, you know, deep embedded into Bitcoin ETF inside, not Bitcoin ETF, but the ETF fund for tokenizations inside of BlackRock. It's the #1 holder. Thanks, Fiery Jack. No problem, brother. Anytime. Miles, will XRP drop coming days? I want to buy, but it's high now. Yes, if geopolitical tensions rise from now until January 20th, it's possible. But if Gary Gensler resigns from now until January 20th, then no, XRPs are going to be going higher based on news of Gary Gensler going to resign. Okay, thanks for the advice, Miles. Looks like I have some coins to research. Get on with. Let's go, Ronnie. So, A16Z is now coming out with a statement. Another institution has decided to come out with a statement today and said basically that we're going towards rules and regulations because of Trump, and they're seeing a legitimate future for cryptocurrency assets right now. With the former Donald Trump re-election to the US presidency, A16Z is projecting a regulatory climate more favorable for cryptocurrency industries. The venture capital firm believes that this could transform most crypto tokens into legitimate and lawful financial tools. That is when you're going to be seeing the real price point of the crypto assets. And, you know, honestly, what they've said right now, what this VC company, venture capitalist company, has said, A16Z, their CEO has said this, by the way, that's essentially we're going into rules and regulations, and you're going to be seeing essentially the venture capital firm believes that this could transform most crypto tokens into legitimate and lawful financial tools. And that is when you'll be seeing the real price point of crypto assets. Not for all cryptos, the only ones that only have utility purposes for banks and institutions. In a post, essentially, A16Z acknowledged questions from crypto founders seeking clarity on what this new administration may mean for their projects. The company anticipates increased speculation about the incoming Trump administration's stance on digital assets, but cautions that the public should expect most of it to be noise. However, it believes that Trump's return to office could create an avenue for constructive engagements with regulatory agencies as well as laws that could essentially finally bring the sort of clarity many inside the crypto industry would have been calling for. One central point highlighted in the statement is token issuance. For many founders who have delayed launching tokens over regulatory fears, the firm's message is one of the reassurance ones. For many of you who have delayed using tokens to distribute control of your project and build communities due to fears of regulatory overreach, you should now have greater confidence in your project's use of tokens as a legitimate and lawful tool. A16Z has came forward and essentially insured the crypto space as well. Not only have they insured essentially that, you know, the rules and regulations are coming towards us, more institutional money is coming towards us, and they're a venture capitalist company, but they've also reassured the other side, essentially, of the market space as well, the retail section or the institutional section that's trying to launch crypto projects, and they said, look, you're green lighted. Forget about Gary Gensler. You're all green lighted. Go forward. Don't slow down. A16Z stressed the importance of following fundamental governing policies. It advised crypto founders to focus on removing centralized aspects or dependencies on trust within projects, as such areas are known for attracting regulatory scrutiny. The post also outlined plans for A16Z's future advocacy efforts. These include promoting rulemaking structures that support innovation and consumer protection. The firm announced its upcoming release of new guidance on decentralized, uncorporated non-profit association frameworks. These instructions aim to help projects make the US their home base while protecting token holders and the liabilities of addressing tax and compliance needs. Through this plan, the crypto venture capitalist company Giant hopes to encourage greater adoption of tokens by reducing regulatory and financial obstacles for US-based projects. The venture capitalist firm A16Z not only have they essentially reaffirmed and reassured institutional banks, nor have they only essentially reaffirmed the reassurance the retail section or any crypto company coming out to launch a token, but they've also reassured them that saying that the doors are opening inside the United States. If you are a crypto company, your new home should be the United States. So all these years that the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, has been climbing the ladder, essentially Kuwait, Bahrain, Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong, the UK, the MIC regulations, the EU, all these countries have been climbing those ladders. But now it's the US's turn. And the US will have and will always have the biggest market space inside the entire world when it comes to blockchain. And that is only because, once again, of Donald Trump, because OnlyFans Kamala Harris would never be able to pull this off. He is the only man that can pull this off, save the United States, save the stock market, save the crypto market, save the real estate market, save the agricultural market space, and save the entire world, pretty much. Trump is the only man that can do this. And, you know, as I've said many, many times, thank God Trump won. Honestly, thank God Trump won. The firm believes that the Do Know essentially framework will support a broader range of crypto ventures by streamlining compliance, making it easier for legitimate projects to thrive in a regulated environment. They're saying, look, your new home is the United States now. Any crypto firms that left the United States, come back. The doors are opening. They must stay open forever. Ultimately, A16Z, which previously supported Trump through donations, sees the next few years as a chance to regain momentum for legitimate crypto projects inside the country. It anticipates new improved rules that will make identifying and shutting down bad actors easier. In turn, this will essentially also enable a well-meaning entrepreneurs to develop secure and innovative crypto projects without unnecessary oversight roadblocks. By regulating the crypto space, essentially means they're going to get rid of bad actors. And when you get rid of bad actors, the crypto space goes from this immature market space to a very mature crypto market space where institutions and banks will be flowing more money into it, which is what we want. We want the crypto space to move away from this immature space to a mature market space with incredible amount of wealth coming into it from people who have wealth, high-profile clients, Wall Street, financial market spaces, banks, institutions, and so on, even government money, whatever. We want more money inside the crypto space. And if you want more money inside the crypto space, we need to move away from an immature, such immature market space to a very mature market space with more money flowing into it, more capital flowing into it, which is what A16Z is stating right now. Do you think, no, okay, let's go to the comment section before we go for the next news. Now, the next news we're going to go through is about Elon Musk, rules and regulations inside the United States government, and essentially Elon Musk being the DOGE king. So we're going to go through that next. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see what's going on there. As I said, you know, if you are new inside the crypto space, do not be shy. This is a live, which means, you know, if you do have any questions, go for it inside the comment section. Thanks, Silly. I agree, absolutely. Thank God Trump won. Let's go, Ray. Do you think no CBDCs for the US for the next 4 years? No. The US will also have CBDCs. As much as, you know, it's being believed that the US won't have CBDCs, the Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, the World Economic Forum will make the US have CBDCs. It's something no country can get away from because the fiat currencies isn't working for the long term in any sort of a way. So fiat is not going to be working for the long term in any sort of a way. So there has to be a replacement of fiat essentially in a digital world. If every country around the United States is going to be in wholesale CBDCs or retail CBDCs, United States has to be also in wholesale CBDCs and retail CBDCs. It's going to be a pressure that comes from other countries around it, because if you want to be the dominant currency in the world and you want it to stay that way, then if every country around you is progressing in wholesale CBDCs and they're going to be launching in 2025, then if you want to remain dominant currency, you have to move with the times. So on those bases, the US will also have wholesale CBDCs. It will also have retail CBDCs because it wants to remain the dominant currency around the world. And the only way for it to remain a dominant currency is to move with the times, which it will do. Do I think it's going to be, no CBDC? No, it's going to be happening because they want to remain dominant currency. Then they have no choice to be in a CBDC world. Hyper Sniper, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been, brother? Will 2025 be the takeoff for XRP? Yes. 2-digit takeoff? Yes. Should be. Yes. A new chairman of the SEC, XRP being regulated, rules and regulations, banks and institutions, green lighted. Absolutely green light. We can get all three. We can actually get all three green lights in 2025. But the adoption will be the start in 2025. You're going to be seeing higher prices in 2026, 2027, and so on. Now, Elon Musk is what we're going to talk about next. The incredible Elon Musk is eyeing essentially to do the exact same thing Milei did. So the president of Argentina. The president of Argentina is also an incredibly intelligent man. He came into their own government. He fixed their country. Their country went from one of the most dangerous countries in the world to one of the most safest places in the world. One of the most safest places in the world. And essentially, okay, before we go through this news, we got one comment coming in from a new user. What do you think about X Empire? I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Genuinely, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. So X Empire essentially is a crypto project that's circulating right now. It's on a few ecosystems. If I'm not mistaken, it's on Ton's ecosystem as well. I personally wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. The only crypto projects that I will touch, essentially go towards, is financial crypto projects, data crypto projects, and Web3 projects. Look, here's the thing. No crypto. Here is something that to always consider when you're looking at any crypto asset. It doesn't matter if you're looking at a gaming crypto project, a Web3 project, an AI project, essentially a financial project, a data project. Whatever project you're looking at inside the crypto space, just consider these three facts. Just these three essentially things that you should do. One, is this crypto project going to be here in 5 years' time? Two, does this crypto project have any contracts? And by contracts, I don't mean with small-time contracts. I mean, does it have a contract with banks or any sort of major establishments or any sort of major institutions around the world? Does it have contracts? And three, does it have licensings? Very, very important. We're going into rules and regulations. And if a crypto project doesn't have licensings, then it's pretty much done for, let's just say, in that matter. So those are the only three things to consider when it comes to any crypto project in any category. One, is it going to be here in 5 years' time? The reason why I say is it going to be here in 5 years' time is because that's the same perspective institutions have. They always look at a 5-year projection. So if you're looking at a crypto project, look at it as a 5-year projection. Is it going to be here in 5 years' time? Two, does it have any contracts with any sort of institutions or banks around the world? Three, does it have licensing to operate within those jurisdictions? If it doesn't have licensing, if it doesn't have contracts, then it's just a crypto project promising to do things it barely can't. Remember that. You can apply that to any crypto project in any category. Do you think, because any crypto project can come out and say, we're going to do tokenizations, we're going to do faster payments, we're already doing faster payments. A crypto project can come out and say, we can do faster payments, faster than XRP, faster than essentially Solana, we're going to do cheaper payments than Ethereum. And they might be able to do that. This crypto project might be able to do faster payments and cheaper payments, compared to Ethereum or compared to XRP or compared to Ton or compared to Solana or compared to Cardano or whatever. And they might be able to have better capabilities and tokenizations. But if they have no contracts in place and if they have no essentially licenses in place, they're going to achieve jack squat. It's basically how simple it is. Because it's not about essentially being the cheapest or the fastest and so on. It's your contracts. Because every crypto project that comes out and says we're faster and cheaper than everybody else around us, and that's why we're better, but they have no contracts and no licensings. Ethereum is slow, expensive, and congested. And look how many essentially establishments are using it. So this mentality that people have inside the crypto space, this crypto project's faster and cheaper, so it must be better. Wrong. Ethereum, once again, is slow, expensive, and congested. And it's still beating the ranks. It's got nothing to do with who's the fastest, who's the cheapest. Is it going to be in 5 years' time? Does it have contracts? Does it have licensing? If it doesn't have licensing or contracts in place, it's a nobody. And yes, you can also argue the point of, well, they're applying for licensing, they might get a license, or they're trying to get essentially, contracts in and so on. But there are already projects that have established themselves 4 or 5 years ago that have the contracts, that have the licenses, that have acquired new businesses to expand on their range. So what would you want to go for? A risk or something that can bring you some sort of assets in a few years' time? So look, every asset inside the market space carries risk, but there are ways to reduce your risk. Every crypto asset, every stock, every single thing that you want to enter inside the market space, everything carries risk, but you can lower your risk. You can never get rid of the risk, but you can lower it. So is it going to be in 5 years' time? The same projection that essentially institutions have when they look at any sort of assets. Is this crypto project going to be in 5 years' time? Does it have contracts in place? Does it have licensings? If it has no licensings, no contracts, then it's just a crypto project promising things it can never do. Someone is asking me about mining Pi. Could I have your thoughts on it, please? Pi is a free app. Essentially, you press one button and exit the app. So if you want to do that, then it's completely... Look, if you want to do Pi app, you put mining Pi. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You don't waste time, you don't waste money on it either. So if you want to do it on the sidelines, why not? It's completely free. Thank you so much. No crypto, no problem. Anytime, brother. Now, Elon Musk, the man of the hour, the incredibly intelligent Elon Musk, is going to be also saving the United States alongside Donald Trump. You see, the president of the president of Argentina did something incredible, and essentially getting rid of useless departments inside the government, which is something essentially that should be happening all around the world, to be fairly honest. But Elon Musk is going to be getting rid of useless government departments and saving the United States of America a lot of money. So, Elon Musk eyes Milei's essentially chainsaw model to cut down US red tape. By the chainsaw model, so Elon Musk's chainsaw model is the chainsaw model that essentially Javier Milei used in Argentina by chainsawing essentially down government, essentially budgeting, government departments that have no use case whatsoever. Experts worldwide are watching closely as President Javier Milei carries out his bold libertarian agenda in Argentina, with SpaceX CEO Elon Musk soon taking up a role as the head of US Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. The idea of applying Milei's model to US government structures is gaining traction. We're going to be seeing a lot of government people lose their jobs, essentially, when Elon Musk takes his position. Good. There are too many people that are useless inside of every government, just to put in that perspective, not just the US government. There are too many politicians or too many members inside the government that are essentially useless. Whether they're essentially in their job or not in their job makes zero difference for the country. But what is actually happening is they're taking a wage and they're doing nothing for the country. So it's the best thing ever to cut down on government spendings and get rid of useless categories that we do not need inside of any government. Known as the chainsaw model, a nod to Milei's focus, chainsaw prop from his campaign, this approach focuses on cutting down the bureaucracy that he argues clogs the government down. Recently, President Milei highlighted the success of his de-delegation, essentially deregulation and state transformation ministry, noting it as a model for his vision of efficient governancy. This success is now inspiring plans within the Trump administration to implement similar policies, with Elon Musk's involvement being key. Milei essentially shared that the President-elect Trump has enlisted Elon Musk, to help roll out this approach inside the US government, taking a page from the experience of essentially Federico, the Argentinian ministers of deregulation. Milei explained that Elon Musk and I have discussed the next steps. Elon Musk has already had a sit down with the president of essentially Argentina and talking about how he's actually reducing the amount of government workers inside the US government, the amount of politicians, because there are too many that people are feeding. There are too many politicians taking money from taxpayer money, which they shouldn't be, and they should be fired. So Elon, this is essentially a comment that came from the president of Argentina. He said, Elon Musk and I have discussed the next steps, and is already in touch with Federico to replicate this model. We're spreading the chainsaw essentially model around the world, and it should be, honestly, every single government around the world should be using this concept. But every government around the world needs somebody like Donald Trump or Elon Musk or Javier, which unfortunately they're very rare people. Essentially, Milei's chainsaw model targets cutting out non-essential or unproductive institutions to reduce the state's unnecessary expenses. The goal is to streamline government functions, keeping it focused only on the core services while stepping back and essentially from other activities. This approach has already led to the closure of several ministries in Argentina, impacting significant institutions like the Coin House and even the tax agencies, which was replaced by a learner organization. Reports suggest that Milei's strategy is working to cut spendings, with over 33,000 job positions already eliminated. 33,000 politicians got fired from Argentina. A lot more will be happening inside the United States, and a lot more should be happening around the world as well, to be fairly honest. More state-owned companies are also under review, including Argentina Airlines, which may face a sale or closure. Elon Musk has been raising concerns about the possible financial emergency on the horizon. Recently, Elon Musk has expressed serious worries about the United States' growing debt, which now stands at an eye-watering $35 trillion. You want to slow down that US debt or be able to control it, get rid of useless people inside the government and useless politicians. And all of a sudden, you're saving millions and billions of years on taxpayer money. This comes as Bitcoin's price has shot up through it, essentially, though it's actually been outpaced by Dogecoin, a meme-inspired cryptocurrency that's gained popularity partly due to Elon Musk's endorsements of the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, which stands for DOGE. Aimed this financial chatter, this growing speculation about whether Trump could consider using Bitcoin to help address US debt, Elon Musk, for his part, has labeled the country's debt growing as unsustainable. Elon Musk was responding to Senator Ron Paul from Kentucky, who supports Bitcoin and recently voiced his concerns over unsustainable nature of the US's $2 trillion annual essentially deficient budget. Ron Paul essentially has been a notable Bitcoin advocate. Back in 2015, he made headlines by accepting Bitcoin donations for his presidential campaign, making him one of the first major politicians to do so. He's long argued essentially that shift to crypto might be eventable and citing essentially rising public districts in the dollar and concerns about government surveillance. The national debt has surged to over $34 trillion as of early 2024, surpassed essentially economic fallouts from COVID and massive essentially spendings. These measures led to high inflation and prompted the Federal Reserve to rise essentially interest rates faster than ever before. As Argentina's President Milei pushes bold libertarian reforms, the US is watching closely, especially with Elon Musk soon taking charge of the Department of Government Efficiency, which stands for DOGE. Inspired by Milei's chainsaw model to cut wasteful spendings, Elon Musk could bring similar changes to the US government, with national debt at a staggering $35 trillion. Elon Musk's warnings about an approaching financial emergency feel even more urgent if Elon Musk applies Milei's approach. If he applies Milei's approach, we could see a learner US government focused on essential services and reducing unnecessary costs. I'm all behind it. I'm all for it. I'm all behind Elon Musk doing this, and I think everybody should be, as a citizen of the United States. I'm not even a citizen of the United States, but as a citizen of the United States, you should be standing behind Elon Musk and essentially green lighting this movement for him to reduce the amount of useless politicians and to now. What we're going to be talking about next is Coinbase. The news has been so bullish today. It's just incredible. And it's going to be bullish moving forward as well, which is going to be better. So what we're going to talk about now is Coinbase. But before we go through the Coinbase news, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. I'm more than happy to help out everyone as much as I can. I go through everyone's comments. I shout out your name, then I read out your question and give you a short, sweet, simple answer to get through everyone. So if you do have a question about crypto, go for it. Do not be shy, even if you're new inside the crypto space. Do you think XTC will hit 2 digits 2025? It's possible. Miles, do you still feel the same about Chainlink? Yes, it still has potential due to its contracts in place. Thoughts about Chainlink? It still has potential. Thanks, Miles. Ian, no problem anytime. Didn't El Salvador's president do the same thing? Yes, he did. El Salvador's president did the exact same thing as well. Incredibly smart man. We need Musk in the UK. Get rid of all the lying politicians in the House of Lords, the money they get paid, and what they do actually do for us. Nothing. I agree. Every country, in my opinion, and I'm guessing in a majority opinion from the retail section, every country needs a Donald Trump. Every country needs a Elon Musk, and every country needs an RF Kennedy Jr. Because these three men are going to change the course of the United States forever. And their impact is going to also be seen in other countries. But we'll be seeing a lot more if we had somebody, like Donald Trump or Elon Musk or RF Kennedy Jr. in every country. If we had people like these three men in every country, the world will be fixed, believe it or not. This messed up and screwed world we all live in will actually be fixed if we had more people like Donald Trump, if we had more people like Elon Musk, if we had more people like RF Kennedy Jr. who are going to be changing the course of the United States. If we had more people like these three, the world will be fixed. This messed up world everybody's living in, it wouldn't be messed up anymore. How high of chance we see 3 digits on XRP beyond 2025? Quite high. Quite high. Now, Coinbase. Coinbase stocks breaks $300 for the first time since 2021. Shares of cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase, Coin, surged more than 20% today, essentially pushing the stock past $300 for the first time since 2021. So here's the thing. Wall Street is not just only going for crypto assets, but the majority, essentially, of the investments are going towards crypto assets, without a doubt. They've mentioned this multiple times. I mean, billionaire hedge funds are doing interviews on Bloomberg, left, right, and center, talking about how Wall Street has positioned itself towards crypto assets. But they've also positioned themselves towards crypto stocks. So essentially, companies like essentially Coinbase, companies like MicroStrategy, who are using Bitcoin as a reserve asset on their own MSTR stock. And there's a lot of other companies that are going to go public in 2025. Circle, USDC, is going to go public in 2025. Tether wants to go public in 2025. Ripple wants to go public as well. So there's a lot of companies that want to go public, but they just couldn't. Why? Because Gary Gensler. But thank God Gary Gensler is getting fired. Now, United States. Crypto stocks are also seeing massive gains after Donald Trump's victory in the presidential elections, as many believe his win will benefit the industry, Cointelegraph research said. We see Coinbase as the beneficiary of election results, as the firm has been struggling with regulatory pressures from the SEC. With the firms actively fighting the agencies in court, Michelle Miller, essentially an equities researcher at Morningstar, said, essentially on a research note, with the incoming Donald Trump administration expected to be more favorable to the cryptocurrency industry, the firm's staking businesses will face less regulatory pressure, said Miller. Less directly, a more pervasive approach to cryptocurrencies, while likely providing essentially a tailwind to cryptocurrency prices. Crypto got the full throttle support of the winning presidential candidates, Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong said. The country fully reputed the work of Senator Warren and Gary Gensler, who tried for years to unlawfully kill our industry. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, said the next Congress will be the most pro-crypto Congress we've ever seen. It is true. Majority votes were all towards Republican and essentially Donald Trump, and 200 politicians. Just to put that perspective, once again, I've been saying it for a few days now, 200 politicians are pro-crypto. And that's Senate, Congress, and so on. 200 politicians are pro-crypto because they're all getting donations from a crypto pack that's with Coinbase, Ripple, Kraken, and Crypto.com. And 200 politicians are pro-crypto. So yes, definitely, Coinbase's CEO is correct. And the next Congress will be the most pro-crypto Congress ever in American history. Facts. The reason why he's saying this is because Coinbase also makes donations to politicians. That is why we have 200 pro-politicians. Coinbase reported revenues of $1.2 billion in the third quarter of 2024, profits of $75 million. Coinbase is focused on some of the building blocks that are now in place to help bring 1 billion users on-chain, according to an October 30th shareholder letter. In quarter three, we made significant progress advancing of these building blocks, notably integrating stablecoins across our product suite and growing essentially the base network. The letter said, referring to Coinbase's Layer 2 scaling network. Another cryptocurrency trading firm, Galaxy Digital, also clocked in the biggest trading of their year. Trump's victory sparked a surge of interest in crypto, not just crypto assets, but also crypto companies. Essentially, Galaxy's CEO Digital, Michael Novoscott, said, our franchise was operating at full blow, trading with counterparties both inside the US and abroad, lending the derivatives desk. Michael Novoscott was essentially, exceptionally popping champagne bottles of how the market was reacting towards his company. He said it really felt like a formation of everything we've been working for. Ironically, Michael Novoscott essentially is the same man that said, I believe in Kamala Harris. He's the same man. Michael Novoscott, the CEO of Galaxy Digital, is the same person that kept on coming out and saying, I believe in Kamala Harris. She's pro-crypto. And now he's the same man saying, I'm feeling the confidence inside the crypto space because of Donald Trump. What an idiot. But at least he's changed his opinion now. Data centers is what we're going to talk about next. Data centers. So not only is crypto companies essentially going to be doing well, crypto market doing well, data centers are a very big play. Digital world, and data is going to be playing a very, very crucial role right now, because all of that data needs to be stored somewhere. So AI and data centers is also what Wall Street and financial institutions are focusing on right now. Data centers become America's latest building craze as AI takes off. Big techs on the building spree across America. Companies are dumping billions into data centers. Massive climate controlled, power hungry structures that house servers and keep the engines of artificial intelligence running 24/7. The numbers are off the charts. Private spending on these data centers for AI companies right now has shot up nearly $30 billion annually, more than doubling from last year, according to the Census Bureau. $30 billion has been spent on AI companies, on AI data centers. AI rise, led by tools like OpenAI, ChatGPT, and so many other AI platforms out there, triggered this surge as companies scrambled to support the data demands of tech race that's only speeding up. AI applications are expensive to run. They require tons of processing power and data storage, which means more infrastructure and, of course, way more cash. And right now, data centers are eating up more budget dollars than anything else in the corporate building category, more than hotels, retail spaces, and even leisure facilities. These facilities are now America's biggest construction obsession. America's biggest construction obsession is AI data centers. The money manager KKR and Co. expects global data center spendings to climb to a staggering $250 billion, spending $250 billion on data centers in the United States annually. With the US at the forefront, companies everywhere are digging deep to build the storage and processing power needed to keep up with the AI gold rush. And essentially, if data centers were people, they'd be ones that were never-ending hunger for electricity, and it's a problem. With each new facility, the energy demands of tech sectors skyrocket. Massive tech firms like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft already draw serious power to keep these operations running. But data centers don't just need a lot of electricity, they want exclusive access. They want priority, sometimes even their own power essentially sources. It's making utility companies and regulators nervous, especially with the risk that essentially consuming this much power could push up energy prices as regular Americans and small businesses just trying to keep their lights on. Obviously, going eco-friendly with electricity would help. Just last week, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, the FERC, denied Amazon's request to power a new data center using energy from the neighboring nuclear power plant. This decision is only the beginning. Energy regulators are starting to push back as they try to balance the needs of big tech with everyday consumers, which is an absolute load of BS. If you want to get electricity from nuclear power, it's going to be possible. It's not going to be damaging the economy. It's not going to be damaging the states or cities around it. It's just on the Biden administration, data centers were having a struggle. But on the Trump's administration, AI is also going to be boosting on a whole nother level, especially inside the United States. AI is going to be boosting, crypto is going to be boosting, data centers is going to be boosting, everything is going to be boosting, is what you need to know. So that is essentially what's the new American craze right now, AI data centers. They're roughly spending right now $30 billion on data centers for AI. They're estimating that budget of $30 billion being spent on AI is going to reach $250 billion. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. There's a crypto craze, essentially data craze, AI craze, crypto company craze going on. Incredible. Thank God Trump won. And OnlyFans Kamala Harris is jobless now. Now, what we're going to talk about next is MicroStrategy, a company that started honestly, MicroStrategy was the OG Bitcoin ETF. MSTR stock was the OG Bitcoin ETF before we even had Bitcoin ETFs. Just put it in perspective. So let's go, before we go through this news, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see what's going on in there before we go for the next news, which is regarding MicroStrategy, the OG Bitcoin ETF. MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, he is the man that's making other companies join the Bitcoin space, just for information as well. If you're somebody that's very, very big inside, if you're very big inside the Bitcoin community, if you're very big for Bitcoin support and Bitcoin is your life, you got to thank Michael Saylor. Not only do you have to thank, obviously, Donald Trump, because he's the reason that all this is happening, but you've also got to thank, essentially, Michael Saylor, because he's the man that's making companies around them, inside of Wall Street, inside of Silicon Valley, inside the United States, around the whole world. He is the man that's creating the competition of companies getting involved in Bitcoin. He is that guy. He's the guy that's buying Bitcoin at 30, 40, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, 90,000, 100,000. This man said he's not stopping. For the next 2 years, he's raising $42 billion to buy Bitcoin, whatever the price is sitting at. He's, if you're somebody that's big inside the Bitcoin space, he is who you have to support as well. If you're somebody that's big inside the crypto space, if you're somebody that's big on Bitcoin, you got to thank Michael Saylor, because he's the one that's creating the competition of other institutions getting involved and going for Bitcoin as well, and bring more eyes inside the crypto space in general. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. Before we go for MicroStrategy news, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said, this is a live, which means, if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And if you're new inside the crypto space, do not be shy, get involved. So T said, we need Musk in the UK. Yes, I already read that one. Okay, I was here. Ray said, nope, Elon is ours, not South Africa's, not South Africa yours, or any of ours. He's ours, though. I mean Texas. All love. Let's go, Ray. Hello, Miles, the CMF. I'm late. My apologies. Leland, good to see you. So don't worry about how you do it. World needs data. Facts. The world needs data. Absolutely facts, Brad. And what coins are data coins? Quite a few of them. Render is going to be playing a role in data. File is going to be playing a role. AR will be playing a role. HOT will be playing a role. Quite a few essentially data projects out there that are going to be playing some sort of a role in that matter. Trump is triumph. I 100% agree. 1 billion% I agree. Let's go. MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy sees $10 billion in unrealized gains as Bitcoin hits essentially its new time high. In a significant milestone, MicroStrategy Bitcoin's holdings have been a staggering increase in value, reflecting unrealized profits exceeding $10 billion as Bitcoin's profits to an all-time new high of $80,000 plus. MicroStrategy, known for its large-scale investments in Bitcoin, currently holds a remarkable 252,220 Bitcoins, worth approximately $20.17 billion at today's price. The company's strict decision to acquire Bitcoin at an average cost of $39,266 per coin has now positioned it to benefit significantly from the recent bull run. In a recent milestone, MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings have seen a staggering increase in value, reflecting unrealized profits exceeding $10 billion as Bitcoin soared to all-time new highs. Known for its large-scale investments, Bitcoin currently holds a remarkable amount, and MicroStrategy, led by CEO Michael Saylor, has been pioneering in institutional investments in Bitcoin, making substantial acquisitions since 2020. This decision has solidified MicroStrategy's reputation as one of the most notable Bitcoin advocates among publicly traded companies. Michael Saylor's vision of Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation and long-term store of value has been met with both skepticism and essentially some other methods and some other scenarios as well. But with Bitcoin's current price of $80,000, the company's strict bet essentially appears to have paid off handsomely. Yes, it has. Making $10 billion in unrealized gains is incredible for a company. The company's BTC holdings have reached an astonishing market value of $20.17 billion, giving their initial average essentially purchase power. This rise in Bitcoin's value has yielded an unrealized profit of over $10 billion. This development not only showcases a potential of Bitcoin as a high-yield asset, but also underscores the growing acceptance of cryptocurrencies among traditional financial entities. The regulatory environment is essentially an essential aspect of Bitcoin's adoption among corporations. Recent developments suggest that regulators in the key economies, such as the US and Europe, are beginning to establish clearer frameworks for cryptocurrencies. These frameworks provide the guidelines that institutions require for their digital asset investments. MicroStrategy's move has also highlighted the need for regulatory clarity in tax treatments and custodial solutions and compliance requirements for cryptocurrencies. Essentially stable regulatory landscape that could potentially accelerate institutional adoption, providing the securities and essentially guidelines companies need to include Bitcoin in their portfolios. In a very simple term, MicroStrategy is basically Michael Saylor stating that the more we're heading towards rules and regulations, is the more essentially we're going to be seeing these prices incredibly rise in value. Incredibly rise in value. And by the way, they've just raised another $2 billion to go for more Bitcoin. Just to put heads up. They're raising $42 billion essentially altogether, but they've just raised another $2 billion to buy Bitcoin, no matter what the price is sitting at. As I said before, and I'll say it again, institutions have a lot of money. They don't care about pushing the retail section out because the retail section will jump out naturally at different price points. Institutions don't care. If they see an asset has potential for 5-year growth, 10-year growth, 20-year growth, they're going for it no matter what the price is sitting at. Institutions have a lot of money. If they see an asset that has potential in a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year period, they're going for it. They don't care if it's sitting at 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. They're going to buy it because they have the money to buy it. Now, crypto market is set for explosive growth. As Standard Chartered Bank predicts $10 trillion milestone by 2026. Standard Chartered Bank has came out with a new report today and stated that the crypto market space should be reaching $10 trillion in assets under management. I mean, just thinking about it is incredible. Cryptocurrencies have seen a metric rises in recent years, with some experts essentially forecasting the market's heights yet to come. In a newly released report, analysts at Standard Chartered Bank make a bold prediction for expansions. Just for perspective, Standard Chartered Bank made predictions that the crypto market, that Bitcoin would reach $100,000 by the end of 2025. It looks like, essentially Standard Chartered Bank wasn't wrong. We're naturally heading towards $100,000. Now, putting that to one side, Miles, is this live? Yes, it is. This is live. All my lives are live. Now, so in a newly report released, the analysts at Standard Chartered Bank make a bold prediction for expansions, asserting that within just 5 years, cryptocurrency capitalization could swell to astounding $10 trillion. This bullish outlook hinges on the anticipated shifts in American policymaking, especially in the aftermath of Donald Trump's actions, to the victory essentially and following in his wake. Some currencies have essentially grown greatly in value, and others may follow through regulations and pose uncertainties. If Washington embraces innovation, decentralized digital assets could revolutionize financial systems worldwide. If you want the world to essentially greenlight crypto assets fully, the US. You get the US on board, everybody's on board. So, Standard Chartered's analyst highlights the possible impacts that the incoming American administrations may have on digital asset sectors. The report anticipates that President Trump and the Republican-led Congress will pursue an agenda favorable to cryptocurrency adoptions. Chief among the expected policy moves is the repeal, essentially, of SAB 121. So there was an act, essentially, there was a law that Weasel Gary Gensler created. This is the SAB 121. SAB 121 essentially made banks hold crypto assets, if they wanted to, as liabilities on their balance sheets. And no bank wanted to do that. Congress went to veto, essentially, Gary Gensler and let the banks work with crypto companies, essentially, and hold crypto assets. But the Biden administration, OnlyFans Kamala Harris, said that she will veto Congress in favor of Gary Gensler. But now that the OnlyFans Kamala Harris is jobless and Sleepy Joe's going to be going on a very long vacation and Trump's going to be taking their seat, the SAB 121 essentially is going to go away, which means banks inside the United States can start holding crypto assets for their clients, can start going inside the crypto market space, trading with crypto companies, letting crypto companies have bank accounts with them. A lot of doors are going to be opening, which currently essentially discourages financial institutions. The SAB 121 currently essentially discourages financial institutions from providing crypto custody services, in addition to legislating a clearer framework for stablecoins to offer regulatory certainty to these digital assets. But all that's going to be changing because Gary Gensler is going to get fired, and OnlyFans Kamala Harris is jobless, and Sleepy Joe's going to go on a vacation. Furthermore, the bank foresees a lighter touch from the Securities and Exchange Commission regarding their oversight of the crypto industry. While talks have occurred regarding the formation of an essentially official US government-backed digital currency, Standard Chartered argues that such an outcome appears less plausible. In contrast, simplifying rules for institutions dealing with virtual currencies seems a more favorable, essentially more essentially feasible early steps, according to their analysts. And aligned with its bullish market outlooks, Standard Chartered Bank retreats its earlier stock predictions for sizable price such as surges in the leading cryptocurrencies by 2025. The bank envisions Bitcoin skyrocketing to $200,000 and Ethereum going past $10,000 at the end of next year's calendar. These projections represent a dramatic growth and spur from their essentially market caps of approximately $76,500 or $80,000 now sitting at and above to the $3,000 Ethereum sitting around. Standard Chartered Bank essentially predicting that $200,000 is what we're going to be looking at for Bitcoin, and about passing $10,000 for Ethereum is what we're going to be looking at next. The anticipated regulatory changes are essentially to play a pivotal functional role in this scenario, as they can essentially bolster organizational adoption and investor beliefs in digital assets. Moreover, the reports highlight that sophisticated volatile nature of cryptocurrencies will persist, with short-term value fluctuations and remaining a possibility before the projected long-term increases are essentially going to be happening. Beyond projecting cryptocurrency prices, Standard Chartered Bank's scrutiny spotlights a potential reshaping of the digital asset space. In terms of market architecture, in spite of Bitcoin's anticipated valuation increase, the financial institutions anticipate its dominance within the crypto sector declining from the current lofty of 60% mark to approximately 40% by the conclusion of 2026. This expected modification is credited to the emergence of novel such as subsectors and mainstream adoption of programmatic applications for such assortments of digital possessions. The bank comments that the comparable to 2021 existing electronic assets are likely to observe price fluctuations and groundbreaking essentially sectors unfolding during this occasion. Real-world employments are ultimately primed to enter mainstream. Banks are essentially getting primed to enter mainstream, the most simplest way to put it. Standard Chartered Bank's optimistic projections underscores the potential for significant growth in cryptocurrency markets, driven by anticipated regulatory reforms under the forthcoming U.S. administration. The bank's forecast for Bitcoin and Ethereum suggests substantial diversification within the crypto sector and points to a dynamic and evolving market landscape. As the developments unfold, stakeholders will be closely monitoring the regulatory essential environments and market responses to navigate the opportunities and challenge in the digital asset space. Apologies about that. So, Standard Chartered Bank essentially saying that rules and regulations are going to be what's going to be the catalyst of the crypto market space, pushing the market to a much more higher price point, essentially. Not just for Bitcoin, for majority of crypto assets, especially crypto assets that have utility going into rules and regulations, they're going to be primed even more. They've also stated that more banks are going to get involved inside the crypto space the moment Gary Gensler gets fired. Because of Gary Gensler and the FDIC chairman, banks were struggling to work with crypto companies inside the United States. The FDIC chairman released 20 letters to all banks inside the United States to not work with crypto companies. But that was under the Biden administration, which is currently going on, but they're going to be replaced by Trump's administration, which is going to be pro-crypto. So Gary Gensler getting fired, FDIC chairman getting fired means banks can start working with crypto companies, which is massive. Rules and regulations, massive. Everything about it is just the simplest way to put it, extremely bullish. Standard Chartered Bank's predictions so far on the market space have been correct. I've been sharing so many predictions from Standard Chartered Bank, from Deutsche Bank, from essentially Goldman Sachs, from Franklin Templeton, from Vanguard. So many reports I've been sharing every single day, and the majority of these reports have been 99% correct, to be fairly honest. Now, we're gonna go into the next news, which is BRICS, and this is an interesting one regarding BRICS. We're going to find out in a few days or weeks if this is true. And what I mean by that is this. BRICS back down from challenging the dollar. Apparently, the BRICS nations have backed down from challenging the US dollar. Anybody remember me saying musical chairs, there's one seat and it's the US going around I said everybody's played the game musical chairs when they were younger. Let's just basically imagine as one seat. I said the US is going around it, China's going around it, and Russia's going around this one seat. I said when the music stops, one person will sit on that seat who will essentially dictate where we're going to be heading towards this world. I said, if the music stops and China sits on that seat, we're pretty much done for. I said Russia, very low chance will sit on that seat. But I said if the US sits on that seat, which it most likely should, then we should be moving forward happy. Well, the music did stop. Trump became president, and the US is sitting on that seat, which has led to this. At a time when the dollar essentially regains supreme, essentially a supreme category in the global trade, the BRICS alliance seemed determined to shake up this establishment order. For several months, the economic bloc has been exploring the possibility of essentially freeing itself from the US dollar and even creating a common currency to facilitate their exchanges. However, the project for a single currency is now being abandoned, a decision that represents a notable setback for the BRICS in their quest for monetary sovereignty and their desire to challenge the American dominance. Because once again, under Trump, the United States of America is strong. The United States of America was weak, and it shouldn't be weak, because when the US becomes weak, China becomes strong. And now the tables have turned. The US is strong, and China might be headed towards turbulence. In a recent statement, the Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry officially announced the abandonment of the idea of a single currency for the BRICS bloc. Dmitry, a spokesperson from the Kremlin, from Russia, has stated an abandonment of an idea of a single currency for the BRICS bloc. He believes that it is not possible at this stage to realize essentially such an ambitious movement. This declaration is almost surprising, given that the idea of a common currency has been the heart of the Block Street essentially discussions for months, driven by an obvious desire to reduce their dependence on the US dollar. Such a dependence has exhibited essentially by sanctions imposed on Russia by Western countries, which pushed Moscow to consider economic alternatives. But today, the hopes for a common currency are collapsing, as the BRICS are no longer essentially in a position to challenge the dollar's homage in a unified manner. Of course not, because Trump. The abandonment of the single currency project is thus seen as a strategic retreat for the BRICS. Through this initiative, the bloc intended to assert its collective power in the face of American influence, with the goal of essentially strengthening their economic and geopolitical weight. However, economic realities of essentially internal seems to have taken procedures over this unified ambitions movement. Moreover, Donald Trump's return to the White House may also have influenced this decision, as the BRICS now seek to avoid any open confrontation with the United States in the monetary realm. So it seems like Russia, China, India, South Africa, Brazil have all got scared. And they're saying, you know what? We don't really want to do a unified currency anymore. The dollar isn't that bad. But here is what is going to be happening, what should be happening. What's actually going to be happening is no longer a one currency type of, essentially BRICS nation. What's supposed to be happening was Russia has its own currency. China, every country has their own CBDC. That's what's supposed to be happening, and it was going to be happening. It still is going to be happening. Every country has their own CBDC. They have a wholesale CBDC and a retail CBDC. Now, for those CBDCs around the world to be able to communicate with other essentially CBDC worlds, there has to be a middleman. Is that middleman going to be SWIFT? Hell no. SWIFT's time has come and is ended. There's not a single country. Sure, essentially, they're going to be moving away from a unified currency, but they're definitely not going to be using SWIFT in this scenario. SWIFT is not a payment tool or a messaging tool. It's a political tool. So whatever happens, SWIFT is not in the picture, and it should be out of the picture because a lot of countries don't trust it. A lot of Asian countries don't trust it. If the world wants to start doing business with the Asian market space, which they should be doing because China is one of the biggest market spaces out there, yes, SWIFT is not really the answer. And the Middle Eastern countries aren't really big on SWIFT either. So somebody has to play the middleman to connect China's CBDC to Russia's CBDC, or to connect China's CBDC to United Arab Emirates CBDC, or to connect India's CBDC to America's CBDC. Somebody has to play the middleman CBDC role to connect these CBDCs so they can do transactions. I'm guessing everybody has a clue of who the middleman is going to be. Because those CBDC transactions cannot communicate with each other if they're built on essentially different platforms. There has to be a platform in the middle. Because if one CBDC is built on, for example, Ethereum, which it isn't, but one CBDC is built on essentially OP, or one CBDC is being built on TON, for example, one CBDC is being built on Chainlink, for example. Well, there has to be a middleman CBDC to connect the CBDC from Chainlink to CBDC to Ethereum, to CBDC to OP, to CBDC to this, to CBDC to that. There has to be a middleman platform. Anybody remember David Schwartz saying that the XRP ledger is going to be playing the role of Google, where everything connects to it? Anybody also remember the PDF documentation titled Cross-Border Payments from the Bank of International Settlements? And on that list, it said Ripple. The Bank of International Settlements have also mentioned that there has to be a middleman for these CBDCs to connect. The Bank of International Settlements has said that there has to be a middle platform for these CBDCs to essentially connect internationally. Otherwise, the Bank of International Settlements said that we're going to have lots of countries in CBDCs that can't do business together because their CBDC is built on a different platform compared to the next country. And the Bank of International Settlements said, if every country is going to be in CBDCs, then every country wants to communicate. And how they're going to communicate if they're all built on different platforms? The Bank of International Settlements said there has to be a middle platform that connects all of these transactions together. You take a guess who that's going to be? XRP Ledger, if you're still thinking. It's on the PDF documentations. Moreover, Donald Trump's return to the White House. So the idea of BRICS creating this unified cryptocurrency only for themselves, yeah, that's a pipe dream for BRICS now. Moreover, Donald Trump's return to the White House may also have influenced this decision, as the BRICS now seek to avoid any sort of confrontations with the United States of America, because once again, the United States is strong, and thank God for that. Honestly, thank God the United States is strong, because China was getting too strong, and it was not good. Amidst this abandonment, another significant announcement has caught attention. The BRICS bloc no longer aims to actively turn away from the dollar in its trade exchanges. Look at that. BRICS countries don't want to move away from the US dollar anymore in terms of trades. According to Vladimir Putin, the group no longer plans to do without the greenback. Vladimir Putin making a statement, changing their opinions, and saying, we're not going to be moving away from the US dollar. Who said that? Who said we're moving away from the US dollar? In international transactions as well, this turnaround once again seems essentially linked to political changes inside the United States that could reflect a strategy and towards the Trump administration. De-dollarization is a long-term process as the dominance of the dollar remains a major obstacle to short-term initiatives. This decision could, however, divide the members of the BRICS. Brazil, for instance, has already essentially hinted that it may independently pursue certain monetary diversification efforts. Even in the absence of collective support. Anybody remember me saying, BRICS will fall apart. Anybody remember me saying BRICS will fall apart? I mean, I'm never wrong. Maybe sometimes. No, I'm never wrong. This refocusing around the dollar could therefore essentially complicate the bloc's unity as each country seeks to defend its own interests in unstable economic contexts. With the abandonment of their single currency project and the return to the dollar in exchange, the BRICS are engaging in essentially of their economy strategies. They're reconfiguring their economy strategies. This turnaround could weaken their credibility regarding de-dollarization. However, it could also offer additional maneuvering room for each member to adjust its monetary policies to its national priorities. It remains to be seen whether the blocs will be able to reinvent itself around other common initiatives and essentially avoid fragmentation that would weaken its voice as the international stage. So BRICS went from this powerful, we have the voice. BRICS went from this group of collective countries coming together and saying, we have the voice, we are in charge. And then Trump essentially comes and takes charge of the United States. Donald Trump comes and takes charge of the United States. And the same BRICS countries that were coming out and saying, we are in charge, are the exact same BRICS countries now saying, who said that? We never said we're in charge. We never said we're moving away from the US market space of the dollar. We never said that. Yeah. So the BRICS countries were very strong and powerful for a few months until the US was restored and they scattered. Now, owning essentially, not owning Bitcoin is, so the next thing we're going to talk about, moving away from the BRICS news. Once again, BRICS still exists. Just to point it out, BRICS still exists, but they're going to be reinventing themselves because moving away from the US dollar is not really the option they want to take anymore at all. But they have scattered. The same countries that said, China said, I'm standing behind Russia. Russia said, I'm standing behind China. India said, India, for crying out loud, India is a member of the G20 countries, just like Russia and China is, but India is also an ally to the US. And even India, who's an ally to the US, was, essentially going against the US. Imagine that one, how crazy that is. That countries that are your friends are going, we don't want to use your currency. And those same countries that were your allies, that were essentially your friends, that you did business with, and basically said to your country that we don't want to use your currency, are the same countries now coming begging to join back. India is coming begging back. China is coming begging back. Russia is coming begging back. South Africa is coming begging back. They're all on their knees. Russia's on their knees right now for the US. China's on their knees. India's on their knees. South Africa is on their knees right now for the US. Brazil is the only one still standing tough. Brazil's like, we're still going to give this a go and see how it goes. But we're not going to go on our knees just yet. We'll see. Russia left, China left. Just to point it out, these countries, the BRICS still exist. They're going to be reinventing themselves and not moving away from the US dollar or going against the US at all. But they're going to be reinventing themselves. But Brazil is the only one still going, we can do this. We don't need Russia, China, and India. And these were the same countries that essentially said, we're behind them. Not owning Bitcoin will be a liability in the future, is a report that came out today from the NYDIG report, the New York essentially. Actually, before we go through this report, let's go inside the comment section first. this is a live, which means, if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So go for it. If you have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Let's see where we're at. That's right, Miles. Oh, here we go. We were here. Miles is live. Yes, it is, Philip. At the rate BTC is selling, how long do you foresee it before there is no more? Well, they have to mine all of it. So, I mean, a few years, I would have to say. I'm thinking render. I was say a few years. Ronnie's saying, I think render. I'm thinking render and XTC for XLM for my next coins. What do you think, Miles? Render's good. XTC is good. XLM is good as well, without a doubt. Very good. DOGE JJ says hello. How you doing, JJ? That game and hot potato. Yep, hot potato as well. Putin has woken up to reality. Yep, yeah, everybody has. Every strong leader around the world has woken up to reality, because every leader around the world and a lot of people around the world were living in delusional land. And then Trump comes around and takes away that delusional land from the delusional people and the delusional leaders and puts them in their place. Once again, thank God for Trump. XRP is the middleman. Exactly. Swift is like the horse and the cart compared to XRP, who will be the new race car. Yes, Miles, facts. Let's go, Ian. That's right, Miles. One of the few who has ever mentioned Swift and a political type of war. Crystal ball. Let's go, Ray. XRP. Let's go, Brad. I totally lost connection to the show for a while, Miles. That happens a bit. Sorry about that. Brad, let's go. Gino says yes about BRICS. Ian says, yeah, you said it probably won't come to anything, Miles. I did say, yeah, facts. The boss is in town now. Regarding Donald Trump, yes, he is. All part of a big show. It's all planned, I think. Should be. Nothing happens by coincidence in this world. Now all the BRICS countries are like, watch out, Trump's about. Watch out, Trump's about. They changed their minds real quick after Trump's elected. Pepe, do you think it will do good? Philip, it's a speculative asset. Pepe is a speculative asset and highly used for washing. So Pepe is used for ML. That's basically what it's used for. It's used for ML. What I would say is, look, if you really want to go towards assets that are very speculative, at least be on the other side of crypto space, the utility side. Okay, Philip, what you have to remember is we're going towards utility and rules and regulations. Do you really want to be stuck in Pepe? It's a simple question, honestly. Not saying you want to answer right now, but ask this question to yourself. Philip, ask this question to yourself. We're going into a new SEC chairman, rules and regulations, banks and institutions, utility around the whole world, not just inside the United States. And we're going into utility. We're going to rules and regulations. We're going to the United States become the crypto market capital of the world. Do you really want to be the person that's holding Pepe in utility season? If you really want to be a meme coins bring some, they bring value to the table, no doubt about it. There's an old British saying, money is money, land. If it makes some money, it's good to go. But here's the thing. If you really want to be in speculative assets, at least have, your traditional assets, your utility assets on the sidelines. And I'm not asking if I don't want to know, what you're holding. I always tell people, never reveal what you're holding and never reveal the amount of what you're holding. But don't be the person that's holding Pepe when we're in rules and regulations with utility, is what I would say. Long-term projection is always better than short-term projection. Short-term projection leads to running out of money. Long-term projection runs to investments. Right, facts. Let's go, Pepe. Let's go, Pepe. Philip, let's go. Zelensky knew Trump would win. I bet when he visited Trump a few months ago, he asked for asylum and a suit on the Trump Tower, even if he has to do with Trump's butler for a year. Oh, Zelensky, I mean, he's in for a treat. The billions of dollars Zelensky essentially has taken from the US and from Europe, they should be paying. I mean, obviously, they can't pay it back. Ukraine will never be able to pay back that money. It's never going to be possible. Zelensky is, at this point, one of the richest men on this planet, Zelensky, at this point, because of the Biden administration. And obviously, Kamala Harris and Sleepy Joe took some money on top of that as well, knowing that for a fact. I mean, we always knew Kamala Harris can't count. You know, if you were someone that wasn't sure, OnlyFans Kamala Harris can't count. You know, she cannot count, and she has a very dodgy hand. And by dodgy hand, I mean she, you know, always skims some off the top. Her campaign raised 3 times more money than Donald Trump's campaign. Just for perspective, if anybody hasn't heard the news, if you had the news, here's a quick session on that. Kamala Harris's campaign raised 3 times the money of Donald Trump's campaign, and she's in debt, $20 million. This is a person that a lot of people, delusional people, voted for. They voted for Kamala Harris because she was a woman. Ironically, the people that voted for Kamala Harris because she's a woman couldn't give a definition of what a woman was. I've never known anyone like that, you know. How could you be voting for something you don't know the definition of? But yeah, the delusional people that are voting for Kamala Harris that didn't know what a definition of a woman was, but they were voting for a woman because she's a woman, the irony in that one, wanted her to run the country because they didn't learn from the last 4 years at all. She raised 3 times more money than Donald Trump, and she was in $20 million debt now. And she was supposed to run a country. Thank God we dodged a bullet with that one. But also, the funny part is the suggestions from some people. So, you know, some people suggested that Donald Trump apparently is going to be paying Kamala Harris, donating $20 million to Kamala Harris, which is embarrassing for Kamala Harris. But some people suggested that Donald Trump should give Kamala Harris's money away to Ukraine. The same way, you know, essentially Kamala Harris has been giving other people's taxpaying money away to Ukraine. Maybe Donald Trump should take that $20 million donation he's going to give to Kamala Harris to bring out of debt and give that money to Ukraine. The same thing she's done with us. And some people suggested that essentially Donald Trump should just give Kamala Harris $750. The same money she suggested to people that were, you know, losing their properties in a flood. The same people that lost their houses in a flood inside the United States, and they were giving $750 as a family, $750 per family, a loan which they had to pay back. And Ukraine, on the other hand, was getting billions, money that they'll never see back. So some people suggested that maybe Donald Trump, instead of donating $20 million to Kamala Harris, should just give her $750 as a loan. That's not a bad idea either. Donald Trump makes Bitcoin pump. Donald Trump makes everything pump. Donald Trump makes the crypto markets go up, stock market go up. The dollar gets essentially strong. Everything goes up in value. Miles, there's trillions of dollars and minerals under the land in Ukraine. There is. Ukraine has a lot of gas, an immense amount of gas, an immense amount of oil. But there are other ways of extracting that oil and gas. There are other ways of extracting that oil and gas that didn't need for countries to go into massive debt. It didn't need the US to go into more debt, or the UK to go in more debt, or the EU to go in more debt. That war was unnecessary. There are other ways of extracting oil and gas from the ground up. Investments. How about this? A very simple one. A US oil company or a US gas company goes to Ukraine, does a contract, and they start pumping out gas and pumping out oil. Instead of the US government sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, the UK sending billions, the EU sending billions, And what has it ended to? Well, it ended to people not being able to afford groceries and gas. There are other ways of extracting gas and oil from the ground up, but the greedy oil companies and the greedy gas companies decided the better solution would be to start a war so that the governments can fund their dirty projects. There are other ways you can extract gas and oil from the ground up. It's called investments. You go there, you sign a contract, and you start pumping. But they wanted to, make a lot of money and be greedy, and essentially, so that regular folks can't afford gas or groceries. So there are other ways. I'm fully aware that Ukraine has immense amount of minerals, an immense amount of gas, immense. But there are other ways of extracting it. There are much more other ways of extracting it. Contracts will be the simplest one. You go there, you do a meeting, you sign a contract, you start pumping. Instead of companies getting greedy and saying, hey, US government, start a war for us. Hey, UK, join in. EU, join in those also. Let's start a war. So everybody leaves Ukraine, war ends, we can start pumping that gas and oil. And then who is feeling the burn right now? Regular folks who can't afford gas or groceries. They could have just went there, signed a contract, and started pumping. But no. They wanted to make more money than what they are already making right now. So this wasn't the US government's fault. This wasn't the Ukraine. This wasn't the US government's fault. This wasn't the UK's government's fault. This wasn't the EU government's fault. It was the oil and gas companies that were running the show. They're the greedy ones. They're the ones that enticed government members because they're their donors. You see, this is what you get when you don't have a president that it isn't being, essentially like ventriloquist. One of those dolls that you stick your hand into and you make them talk? Yeah. When you have a president like Trump, nobody's sticking their hand into Trump and making him speak. But when you have a president like Sleepy Joe and OnlyFans Kamala Harris as an administration, a Biden administration, you have many hands up their ass making them talk. Which is why wars start. Because you have oil companies having their hands up their ass, you have gas companies, you have so many companies, their hands are up their ass making them talk. Oil and gas companies. They wanted this war to happen because they wanted access to that land without paying for it. They wanted access to that land without paying for it. They wanted the governments to get involved so they can take that land without paying for it. But when you have a president like Trump, nobody has their hand up his ass making him talk. He runs the show, and he is the show. That is why every government behaves themselves. That is why every company behaves themselves. And that is why they have behaved themselves. Wars ended. Grocery prices came back down. The man hasn't even taken a seat yet. BRICS is falling apart. That's the difference between a real president and a phony. So, as I've said multiples of times, thank God Trump won. Trump has not only saved the United States, but he has saved the entire world. So thank God Trump won. Now, let's see what we're going inside the comment section before we go straight to the next news. Outstanding. Let's go, Ray. As I said, this is live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Don't be shy. Go for your questions. With America being the world leader in crypto markets, the US dollar will always stay strong and get stronger now. Facts. What Brad has said, absolutely facts. People will bail her out. Truth? Yeah, they will. I'm in Carolinas and was not eligible for that 750. Wow. Did you look at that? Is Kamala Indian or African American? I'm not sure. You know, Kamala, one day she's African American. The next day Kamala is Indian. The next day she's Latin. The next day she's British. The next day she's Arabic. Kamala Harris is a somebody that you would call with a bipolar disease, or genuinely, you know, not bipolar, the other one. I forgot the name of it, but the other one, where someone that looks in the mirror and doesn't realize who they are. DOGE nuclear bomb will like it. Yes, facts. 100% facts. Kamala, totally unnecessary war. Yeah, facts. Ventura, yeah, I hate those things. Trump definitely not one of those. Nope, exactly. They own that land now, Miles. They do. Miles, do you diversify with any gold or silver? If not, do you think it's a good idea here in the States? Sure. Why not? If you want to, you know, diversify to gold and silver, why not? It's, you know, gold is an incredible asset that will always appreciate in value. Silver is an incredible asset that will always appreciate in value as well. So if you want to diversify to gold and silver, why not? It's just one thing that I would say considering is that something I said a while ago as well, which I still stand by, and I'll always stand by. So I've said, you know, a lot of people ask me questions. A lot of people ask me, you know, Miles, should I go for what Mike said, sorry, on the previous question, on the previous thing I was saying, what Mike said inside the comment section is what I was talking about. Somebody that looks in the mirror and doesn't realize who they are. That's Kamala Harris. And the diseases in the comment section, Mike has put it. Mike, cheers for that, brother. So going back to the question, so a lot of people ask me, you know, Miles, should I go into gold? Should I go into silver? Should I go for real estate? Should I use my money to buy a house or an apartment and rent it out, or do an Airbnb with it, or so on? And I always say, or sometimes they say, should I go in the stock market? I say, look, a very, very small market space, which is called the crypto market space. Some people might believe the crypto market is massive now. It isn't. Nowhere near massive. The prices you're seeing now are just teasers of what's to come around the corner. We still haven't even went to regulations. We still haven't even went, you know, more institutional money coming and banks coming and everybody getting involved. This is just a tease of what's about to come inside the crypto space. So I've said to a lot of people, and I've always said this, that a small market space this big, the crypto market space is this big compared to the, you know, real estate market space, stock market space, automotive market space, and so on. And I said this small market space is going to revolutionize every other market space around it. This small crypto market space is going to revolutionize the real estate market space. It's going to revolutionize the stock market space. It's going to revolutionize AI. It's going to revolutionize how we use the internet. It's going to revolutionize how we communicate. It's going to revolutionize the automotive space. It's going to revolutionize every single market space around it. And this crypto market space is this big. So I said, you know, if you want to go into gold or silver, sure, why not? If you want to go into real estate, why not? If you want to go to stocks, why not? If you want to go to the automotive industry, why not? But just remember one thing. This small little crypto market space is about to revolutionize everything around it. Where your house will become tokenized, your car will become tokenized, stock market will become tokenized, gold will become tokenized, silver. I mean, everything around it, it's going to change it forever. And the crypto market is this big. So what I would say is preferably stick in this small crypto market space, because this small market space is about to change the entire world and every single market space around it. Gold and silver, incredibly great assets, no doubt about it. Gold and silver are incredible assets, no doubt about it. But that small little market space is about to change the world. She's probably an alien. She's probably an alien. Now, so that's what I will say simple to that. So gold and silver are incredible assets if you want to go towards them. But preferably, just remember this small little market space about change the entire world. Now, not owning Bitcoin will be a liability in the future, says the NYDIG report. With the level of regulatory clarity expected inside the United States in the upcoming months, market analysts insist that investors not owning Bitcoin could become a liability in the future. According to a research report from the Bitcoin technology and financial services firm New York Digital Investment Group, NYDIG, basically said market participants have no excuse not to buy Bitcoin now. NYDIG global research head in New York, Greg, said that cryptocurrencies is not just available through easy to access, well-regulated products like ETFs, but now is becoming a political imperative. Greg explained that the US investors may have found it easy to dismiss or ignore Bitcoin for several reasons over the past years, but to continuing to do so would be their financial peril. The leading cryptocurrency has outperformed every asset class and is up over 90% year to date. Not owning the asset is going to become a liability in the future, Greg said. Currently, most investors have zero portfolio allocation to BTC or cryptocurrencies. Greg said that this has to change as investors must get off the zero and make room for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in their bags. Given the level of positivity inside the market space, the top digital currency is bound to assume gains in the near term, essentially. At time of writing, BTC is worth 82,200, keeping with its 4-year price cycles. Bitcoin had been running ahead of recovery from prior cycles. Before the essential range-bound trading we've been since essentially March, now with the bump in price, it appears as it is going through a repeating cycles may continue. Following President Trump's win at the just essentially concluded US elections, Republicans will take control of the White House and likely make up most of the Senate and other essentially legislative arms. The crypto industry considers this consolidation of power by the Republican Party as a favorable development due to the overreach request for clear regulations. Major agencies and departments inside the United States could witness significant changes as soon as pro-crypto Republicans emerge as new heads and chief executives. It's true. When the essentially new pro-crypto Republicans emerge as the heads and chief executives is when you're going to be seeing another price jump. Greg disclosed that the Senate Banking Committee head, Sharon Brown, is already out, and the Securities and Exchange Commission, Gary Gensler, is almost out as well. Furthermore, individuals heading the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporations, the Office of Controller of the Currency, and the Treasury will be replaced with Republicans, leading to a new era where crypto is accepted into the mainstream financial system, which is all true. What you're experiencing right now inside the crypto space is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. You're seeing Bitcoin reaching new heights and everybody's jumping up. As I said, you should be celebrating. But the price that Bitcoin is sitting at right now, the price that Ethereum is sitting at right now, the price that Solana, XRP, XLM, XDC, AVAX, TON, Cardano, DOGE, Chainlink, Near, and the list goes on, utility projects. But the price that they're essentially these assets are sitting right now, you're going, well, we're doing numbers right now. It's nothing compared to what's around the corner. And what is around the corner is all of these pro-politicians, all these pro-Republican crypto politicians taking their seats. Once they take their seats, and Gary Gensler is out, and the FDIC is already out, that is when you're going to be seeing the real movement of crypto. With regulations, new SEC chairman, regulations, banks and institutional money, and America becoming slowly the capital crypto of the world. Do you think every country around America is just going to sit on the sidelines? Every country that is moving slow right now, every country, the UK is moving slow right now. The EU is speeded up a little bit. But there's a lot of countries around the world right now that are moving sluggish. Do you think they're still going to be moving sluggish towards crypto assets when the US is aiming for capital of the crypto market space? Hell no. So new SEC chairman, Gary Gensler out, rules and regulations, banks and institutions inside the United States going forward. And then around that, you have countries now looking at the US and going, well, we're not going to get left behind. They're going to be joining in. And then you have companies like MicroStrategy going, we're raising $42 billion to buy Bitcoin at any price. Their competitors are going to look at MicroStrategy and go, well, we're going to do the same thing. It's just now going to go into some sort of a stage where it's competition beyond competition, where countries are going to be, essentially in competition with other countries of who's going to get there the fastest. Corporations are going to be in, essentially in competition of who's going to get there faster. Institutions are going to be, essentially banks are going to be in competition of who gets there faster. That's what's going to lead into. So the prices you're seeing right now are nothing, absolutely nothing compared to what's right around the corner. Because once the US gets the ball rolling, every country that is moving slow or hasn't entered yet inside the crypto market space, they're going to be going head first. Because if you needed confidence that crypto might be the way for any country, well, if the biggest country, most powerful country, most wealthiest country on this planet is trying to become the capital of that market space, believe it or not, every country around them, every single country around, small, big, large, no matter how big that country is, it was going to go also head first inside the crypto market space. So the prices you're seeing now are nothing compared to what's coming right around the corner. These prices right now, Bitcoin doing these heights is nothing. The prices you're seeing right now are nothing compared to what's coming right around the corner. If you need a boost, there it is. If you need more of a boost, there it is. Kamala is a wait till the crypto markets outdoes the wait till the crypto markets outdo the New York Stock Exchange. Did you see drop before regulations? No. Yeah, I did. So I said, look, if we're gonna have a drop, it has to be now. Now, obviously, we're gonna have turbulence. Having turbulence in the market space is perfectly fine. But drastic drops are a thing in the past. However, if we get geopolitical tensions rising, so right now, Trump still hasn't taken his seat. January 20th, Trump takes his presidency seat. Before January 20th, so now until January 20th, things can happen. For example, news was released today that the US has fired missiles at Iranian army bases. That could cause a war. They fired at Iranian army bases, not in Iran, in countries outside Iran, but they fired at Iranian army bases. Now, a scenario like that could start a war. That could have an implication on every market space. So from now until January 20th, watch out for a war scenario. And that's a look, if you're looking for another entry inside the market space, well, there it is. If we have a war from now until January 20th, before Trump takes his seat, because Biden's still in charge, a war could possibly happen. And all of a sudden, the US is firing missiles at Iranian essentially army bases in Syria, which is quite odd. But the US had all this time. The US had all of this time to launch missiles at any Iranian army bases, and they didn't. Why now? The US's excuse was Iran, this is a retaliation of all the Iranian missiles. Yes, but this retaliation of Iran and Israel has been going on for a while. Why did the US do missiles now? There's a reason why. That they're trying to, get the ball. Well, here's the thing. Look, from now until January 20th, consider the fact that a war could break out between the Middle Eastern countries that could have an implication on the market space. Before a next massive up, there has to be some sort of, stableness. So from now until January 20th, consider the fact that a war might break out in the Middle East. Might. After January 20th, the chances of a war have dropped significantly. I mean, Iran has to be very stupid to start a war at that moment in time. Under Trump's presidency, Iran has to be very stupid to start a war. Any country should be very stupid to start a war. But under his presidency, it won't happen. It's a very, very, very low possibility chance. But from now to January 20th, consider that fact. So if you're looking for an entry point to re-enter the market space, now until January 20th, if that war does break out. So that's what I said at the beginning, Susie. Can tax time can bring market down, and when usually? End of the year is usually tax season for majority of countries. Tax season shouldn't bring the crypto markets down in any sort of a way. It shouldn't bring it down, unless it's going to be drastic sell-offs. Unless there's drastic sell-offs, there should be sort of market down. Now, what we're going to talk about next is TON. The TON crypto, the TON ecosystem is an incredible ecosystem. And as I've said before, Telegram, TON, the TON ecosystem has access to one thing that no other crypto project has access to: 1 billion users. Telegram has 1 billion users, and TON is going to be having access to 1 billion users through Telegram, because TON was developed by Telegram and then dropped because the SEC decided to sue Telegram at one moment in time. And then Telegram partnered with Telegram partnered with TON, even though they built the project as a loophole to not get sued by the SEC, because now it's an open foundation. Anyways, TON was developed by Telegram, and Telegram is going to become an everything app, and TON has access to 1 billion users. So, and TON's ecosystem is getting bigger and bigger as the day go by. The TON project, TAC, secures $6.5 million. So there's a crypto project, essentially an extension on TON's ecosystem. There's an extension on TON's ecosystem by the name of TAC. And TAC, which is Token Access Control, has raised $6.5 million from venture capitalists. VC companies have funded a TON extension so that this TON extension can bring Ethereum apps to Telegram users. The TON's network extension, TAC, TON Access Control, has raised $6.5 million in seed funding round to expand Ethereum Virtual Machine, EVM. Applications to users on Telegram. The funding round was led by Hack VC and Symbolic Capital, and TAC co-founded by members of TON's top team and Michael, the founder of Curve. The project aims to leverage Telegram's massive user base by enabling Ethereum-based applications within the app, bridging Ethereum's developments with TON's blockchain infrastructure. The foundation raised essentially will support the scaling of technology, outreach developers, and simplifying self-custody for assets on TON and Ethereum's networks. The TAC's public testnet is set to debut at the DevCon 2024 with a mainnet launch planned for early 2025, marking a significant step towards integrating Ethereum's vast ecosystem within Telegram's 1 billion user base. On the TON ecosystem, TON, the open network, has long aimed to provide scalable blockchain solutions by Telegram's extensive user base. By integrating EVM capabilities, TAC will enable Ethereum developers to bring their applications to the TON blockchain, making it accessible to millions of Telegram users. This integration paves the way for decentralized finance, applications, NFTs, and other Web3 services within Telegram. The Telegram app is going to become the everything app. Same way X is going to become everything app. But as I've said many times, on X, we don't know what's the chosen token, or is it going to be a collective tokens for the backbone of X is everything app. Telegram has 1 billion users, and we already know who their backbone is, TON, because they developed it. So providing users with new avenues for financial transactions and asset management without leaving the app. The bridge between TON and Ethereum expands both ecosystems, adding essentially TON's users to access a broad range of dApps and Ethereum-based assets, while Ethereum developers can reach new audiences on TON's network. The key benefits of EVM integration with Telegram users. EVM integration allows TON to support Ethereum-compatible applications, enhancing its functionalities and providing new opportunities for Telegram's communities. Access to a wider range of dApps by essentially supporting EVMs. In-app crypto functionalities, simplified self-custody. And essentially, the funding allocations and development plans, the $6.5 million raised will primarily go towards scaling technology. The team will work on enhancing TAC's infrastructure to support millions of users on Telegram, ensuring smooth functionality and across platforms. The developer outreach and incentives, attracting Ethereum developers to build on the TON essentially is a priority. TAC aims to provide incentives and resources, making it easier for developers to adapt their applications to TON's ecosystem. User-friendly self-custody solutions. I mean, the seed funding round essentially attracted notable blockchain investment firms, including Hack VC and Symbolic Capital. These partnerships bring financial essentially support and industry expertise to TAC's mission, reinforcing its potential to bridge two of the largest ecosystems in the blockchain. The involvement of Michael, known for his work on Curve Network, also leads significant credibility to the project, particularly in the DeFi space, where cross-chain interoperability is key. As I've said many times, the TON ecosystem is going to become incredibly massive. There are crypto projects out there who would essentially dream of having 1 billion users. 1 billion users is what Telegram has. And the only crypto project they will ever use for eternity as their backbone is TON. 1 billion users. Eventually, it will have 1 billion users. Now, it's just a project that if you haven't looked into, TON is going to become incredibly massive. Now, what we're also going to be talking about, is now one other country that's just joined the EU, Norway. What I mean by that is essentially the MICA. So Norway supports the MICA regulations. The MICA regulations is for crypto asset regulations inside the EU. Norway is another country that's just decided to join the MICA for CBDCs, for financial stability. Norges Bank, Norway's central bank, has endorsed the European Union's markets and crypto asset regulations. As the century evaluates the potential adoptions of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, the project director for Norges central bank CBDC project said in an interview today with Cointelegraph that Norway as a member of the European Economic Area welcomes MICA frameworks, however noted that the bank is still considering whether additional regulations are necessary to promote financial stability. As a part of the EEA, essentially, they explained that Norges Bank has not yet decided if it will issue a CBDC and is assessing how to mitigate the regulatory gaps related to decentralized finance. As a part of the social, including the MICA, which they said it's under public review and currently being assessed by the Ministry of Finance. According to the Norges Bank, Norway's central bank, it considers CBDCs potentially useful for cross-border payments. But it remains to be seen how a CBDC-based cross-border payment system would look. In 2023, the bank participated in the Project Icebreaker, a trial exploring architectures for retail CBDC transactions across borders. They said, we believe that an eventual CBDC will, if issued, will essentially supplement and replace cash. They're saying not replace cash, but it is going to replace cash. We also believe that digital currencies will continue to exist in parallel with CBDCs. According to Norges central bank, it has taken measures to stance on privacy concerns related to CBDCs, recognizing that digital payments will leave digital taxes. He emphasized that Norges Bank is not responsible for monitoring individual payment transactions and noted that most central banks, including Norges central bank, Norway central bank, do not plan to access customer CBDC payment details or account balances. Norges central bank essentially aligns and assumes that this will be the path for also Norway central bank. As other forms of payments, it will be necessary to ensure that relative rules are essentially complied with, for example, anti-money laundering rules. The EU's MICA regulations is set to take full control effect on December 30th. and could introduce systematic risk to the banking system, particularly for stablecoin reserves, according to Tether CEO. At the end of this year, the MiCA regulations inside the EU will take effect, which means Tether's stablecoin, USDT, will be banned from the EU for life going into next year, after first quarter or within first quarter. And that also means that 2025 is when the EU stablecoin comes out. Hence why they're going to go into, essentially launching into effect December 30th. And could introduce as a systematic risk. Now, under MiCA, stablecoin issuers will be required to hold a significant portion of their reserves, at least 60%, in European banks, creating a cause for concerns when it comes to loans. The CEO of Tether explained that due to the bank's ability to loan up to 90% of their reserves, the risk posed by MiCA regulatory requirements could create significant points of vulnerability for reserves if a bank holding them goes bankrupt. The reasons why Tether decided not to work with the EU USDT is because Tether said they don't want to hold 60% of their assets in European banks, because what happens if that bank fails and closes up shop and goes bankrupt? What happens to our money? Which is a BS excuse for we have no, essentially no assets, reserve back assets. Tether is lying about how much they're actually holding in terms of reserve assets, and that will be revealed one day, hopefully sooner than later. Because the faster it gets revealed that Tether doesn't really have the assets as backing itself, the faster we can put that behind us and move forward. So look, CEO of Tether, just move faster. Just tell the people the real reasons of why you don't want to work with the EU. Because Circle had problems working with the EU, and for your ridiculous statement essentially of, we don't trust it. Maybe the bank goes bankrupt and in the EU and takes our money. Well, how is the EU supposed to know that you have reserves back in your assets? Are they just supposed to take the Tether CEO's word? The Tether CEO goes, believe me, I have the reserves. And the EU is supposed to go, yes, we believe you. What kind of delusional world is the CEO of Tether living in? Honestly, what kind of delusional world is the CEO of Tether living in, where he just assumes he can go to the EU and say, don't worry, I have the reserves I'm talking about. And the EU goes, we believe you. And one day when you don't have the reserves, you told everybody you do have, the entire EU economy can just go, because they're relying on your asset, which has no value. That is why the EU is saying, hold 60% of your reserve assets in EU banks, so we know you have assets just in case you go south. It's not asking for much. But yeah, at the end of this year, EU goes green light, which means first quarter or by the end of the year, USDT is out of the EU fully. By first quarter of next year or by the end of this year, USDT is fully out of the EU market space. Now, retaliation because of US military personnel hit in Syria. Miles was the excuse. Can't tax in time. Sorry if I repeat, I heard Democrats might pull Biden out so Kamala can't be the first female black president, even if 3 weeks only. It's probably true what they did. It wouldn't surprise me one bit for OnlyFans Kamala and sidestepping Joe to put Trump in bed situation before they leave. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either, I'll be honest. I think Elon Musk will use DOGE after he may push for DOGE ETF. Interesting. He could do. Norway has a lot of oil. And regarding Ripple's CEO did an interview today, essentially. Monica Long did an interview from Ripple today talking about the crypto market space, talking about how Gary Gensler is going to get fired and how a lot of things are going to be changing, which is all true. A lot of people are making fun of XRP. They're still making fun of people who hold XRP, who see a future in XRP and so on. Just a word of warning to everybody who hates XRP. If you are somebody that hates XRP or laughs at anyone holding XRP or criticizes anybody holding XRP, word of warning, the tables will turn, because the same people who laughed at people who were holding Bitcoin are crying right now. The same people who laughed at people holding Ethereum are crying right now. The same people who laughed at people holding Solana are crying right now. The same people who laughed at essentially people holding AVAX are crying right now. The same people that laughed at people who are holding essentially, there's a lot of assets I can continue this scenario with. But here's the conclusion, the ending statement of that. The tables will turn. And if you're intelligent enough, you can clearly see what is holding that asset back. And it's one man. And once that one man is out of the picture, Gary Gensler, XRP will be regulated, will be the only asset inside the United States that is regulated alongside Bitcoin. Ethereum hasn't been given a category by the SEC at all. They just green-lighted it so they don't get sued again. And they were a lot under pressure from Congress. Bitcoin is the only one that's regulated on paper. And once Gary Gensler is out of the picture, XRP will be the second crypto asset in American history regulated. Just picture that one. The second crypto asset in American history as regulated on paper. So anybody out there that's criticizing someone holding XRP, laughing at them, pointing at them, saying it's useless, sell it. Why are you still holding on? XRP is going to get left behind from this bull run. Just remember one thing. The same people, as I said, that were pointing and laughing at people holding Bitcoin are now crying. Same people that pointed at Ethereum holders in the earlier days are crying because they got left behind. Same people that pointed at Solana and criticized people are crying. Some people, the same people that essentially pointed and laughed at Ton or AVAX or Chainlink are crying. The tables are going to be turning faster than you think. So how about, instead of criticizing people who are holding XRP, understand why they're really holding it. Because what would you rather do? Grow your knowledge on an asset that could change your life, or be ignorant about it in arrogance? Because I tell you what could happen if you grow your knowledge by reading PDF documentations, not by listening to influencers. If you grow your knowledge by reading the facts, positive. 1, you've expanded your knowledge. 2, you make an income. Now, the other way, you criticize someone holding XRP. You call them useless. You call the asset useless. You criticize them, make fun of them. You tell them they're never going to reach the bull run. What does that get you at the end? Nothing. It's very simple. You get nothing at the end, whereas they get everything at the end. So who's winning at the end? You for criticizing someone holding XRP, or them for holding on? Now you might say to me, well, they can also get nothing as well. Well, there's only one way to find out. Now, we've reached the endings of tonight's live. Every good thing must come to an end. So, every good thing must come to an end, and it just has come to an end right now. This was the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, welcome to CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever. The CMF stands for Crypto Mouse Family. If you're watching this for the first time ever, you're watching this on X. If you're not following me, follow. If you haven't, follow, like, retweet. I just want to say, by the way, honestly, thank you so much to everybody that's been retweeting this live. I've been getting notifications throughout the live. Thank you so much to everybody on X who's been retweeting this live, and because I'm getting notifications for retweeting and liking this live, honestly. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much to everybody that tuned into this episode. This was episode 201 of the CMF Live. You can tune into this live every single day on X Live or on YouTube Live, depending on where you're watching right now, from 11:25 p.m. UK time moving forward. So, thank you so much to everybody that tuned into this live in episode 201 in the CMF Live. And on this live, I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations. Vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. So, if you watch us on YouTube, subscribe if you already haven't, and like, comment, and share. If you watch us on X, if you have not followed me, follow, comment, and share, retweet. We also have our own X community page as well, which you're more than welcome to join. Everything I do since the beginning I started this on episode 201 till now, I've been doing it for free. I will continue doing it for free forever, or how long we're going to be in this market space for. But I'm going to be doing it for years and years for free. So everything I do is free. We have a free Telegram group, which you're more than welcome to join as well. Amazing people inside of it, all from the CMF members, all inside the comment section as well. And we also have our own X communities page. Join the X community page. That's also free as well. Amazing place to be in. You can always message me for free. I will respond. You can, let me know if you want to call me. I will respond as well. You can contact me by messaging me or calling me for free. Get involved in our Telegram group, also free. Get involved in this live, also free. Get involved in the X community page, also free. So join the CMF if you already haven't. Amazing place to be in. Amazing people from all around the world. So every good thing must come to an end. It just did now. We've reached the endings of tonight's live. Show your house. This is a green screen. You haven't realized by now? This is a green screen. It says restream at the top. It says restream at the top. It's a green screen, mate. Like if I cover it. Oh, okay, maybe not if I disappear. Okay, there we go. Good night, Miles and CMF. Stormy. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Let's go, CMF. Good night, Miles and CMF. Let's go. Frankie, better see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Ian, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Thanks, Miles, CMF. Ripple, let's go. See you tomorrow, Stormy. Good night, Miles and CMF. See you tomorrow sometime as usual, Stormy. If you have some time over, please check out the DM as always. Great live show. Camel, let's go. I'll check it out. See you tomorrow, brother, sometime as usual. Good night, Miles and family. Great live. Many thanks. See you tomorrow. Ian, see you tomorrow sometime as usual, brother. Thank you, Miles and CMF. Good night and take care. Mike, see you tomorrow sometime as usual as well, brother. Thanks, Miles, for another great live. You are Coral. Adi, see you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. Thanks, Legend. Great live, Miles. All facts. People need to wake up. The time is now. Shelly, let's go. See you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. Night and day to all CMF. Let's go, Shelly. Good night, everyone. Thanks, Miles. See you tomorrow. Orphan, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Thank you, Miles. Fantastic live as usual. Joe, thanks so much for the kind words. See you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. Have a great day, Shelly. And good night, CMF. Romy, see you tomorrow sometime as usual as well, brother. I've done enough research on XRP. They cannot tell me anything. Brad, let's go. I will be seeing everybody tomorrow. Same timing as usual. If you're not following, follow. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't liked, comment, or share, do it. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. See everybody tomorrow. Same timing as usual. See you tomorrow.